It was night. The girl was walking and holding something in her hands. A servant called out to her. She said not to be disturbed, but the servant stopped her anyway. He asked why she was doing this. Sinners are his and should not be visited. The girl replied that he was friends with an important person. That person was the fourth prince. She also said that if they came in through the front door, not a word. He replied that it would be done. They stood in front of the city's main jail. The gates have opened. They went inside. In one chamber lay a human skull, and next to it sat an almost already skeleton. The other criminal was screaming to be dragged out of here. He was begging them. The fat man with the red beard said all the women were his, but they were going almost to the end. There was a guy sitting there. The girl asked if he was okay. He called this girl Mrs. Yuan, after which he asked why she had come here. Ms. Yuan replied that she has a perfect life, but she sees him that way. He asked if she was serious. She opened her red box and said that this food she had prepared for him. He asked if she really thought he would eat it. The girl replied that it was a gift from the fourth. He was taking care of the guy. The guy replied that he didn't know anything and stood up. He only called her a shallow, know-nothing girl. He used to stand somewhere at the top. He was over thousands of people before one day. Someone kicked in his door. The guy asked who it was. It was a woman who was dressed in red. Behind her stood a bunch of guards. The guy called her mom. He asked why she was here. The woman asked if he knew about the crime. The boy replied that it was ridiculous. He didn't do anything. She said he killed the king. He said it just wasn't possible. It was locked. She looked at the guards and said they would find evidence. They began to act on her instructions. Those guards started digging for something. The guy asked what they were doing. They found a bunch of skulls. The guy seemed to recognize them. She asked. Now he would argue. The guy said it was some kind of misunderstanding. The woman called him Qin Yun. She said that not only had he killed the king, but he had also studied magic. Now he couldn't deny it. Qin Yun kept saying that it was some kind of mistake. She asked if he had evidence to prove his innocence, and if he could explain anything. She said that the great prince had studied magic, killed the king, and now he was in hiding. She certainly didn't expect that from him. Memories of a woman with pink hair flashed through his mind. He was writing something under her direction. Qin Yun replied that it was probably the fifth solar vessel. The girl asked what he was talking about. He asked if she knew why he was still alive. The girl asked why that was so, for she certainly did not know the reason. All because the Empress wants to take his fifth solar vessel for her son. She already has 4 vessels. The servant said he was a sinner and was insulting the queen. He replied that he did. He asked what this servant could do to him. The servant grabbed her arm. He said that this sinner was mad, and there was no point in listening to him. They're gone. The guy knows that in a few years they will rip out his vessel, but he's not looking forward to his death. He was in prison, but he was learning magic every day. He didn't waste any time. He hit the wall. His attack left a large mark on the wall. A day later, they came to see him. It was Qin Tianyi, and behind him stood his servants. He asked if Xiao Yuan's food from yesterday was delicious. The guy told him not to be arrogant. He called him still insane. Qin Yun said that if he wanted to take away his vessel, he could act even now. Shintan told him to be more calm. After he finished this, he would be put outside. He began to eat. The guy told him to eat slowly and take his time. After a while, he ate it all. After that, he ordered to take Qin Yun. The guy started muttering something about a great princess. The servant said he was crazy and called Qin Tian a prince. Qin Yun asked them not to do anything. Qin Tian asked if he was playing an idiot to not hand over the vessel. He didn't expect the great prince to be like this. He told him to die and kicked him. Others said he was worthless and wished he would die sooner, but after that he was still captured. The boy was transferred to 3 old men who were dressed in white. They said to pick it up. One asked if the fourth prince was okay. Qin Tian replied that he was fine, but he was crazy. He was told to use this to get started. He thanked the elder. But the protagonist is up to something. He broke free from the men who held him. He was aiming for the gold pill. The fourth principal asked why he could move. The guy's gonna take it. The fourth asked how he dared to deceive him. The guy replied that it was a small debt he owed him. He swung around to strike him. His blow was painful, subsequently causing the fourth man's teeth to fall out, and he was thrown back against the wall. The main character ate the golden pill. He replied that the thing was delicious. People wanted to catch him. He punched the men attacking him, and even managed to get a sword from them. People were yelling for everyone to run away sooner rather than later. Someone said the Empress was impressive. She sat on her throne that the rumors carried. The Empress called him a traitor. He, in turn, called her a sinister woman. Today is the day it's finally going to be resolved. The Empress said that when she cultivated him, she never thought that he would be able to win. He must hide his power and not cheat. He and this woman know about magic. The guy replied that he was now a level 4 combat vessel. It was her turn. He attacked them. The man in the cape said, thinking a lot of himself. First, the protagonist has to get through it. The cloaked man's hand almost touched his sword. A flame appeared. The man's cloak began to fade. The girl said that this boy was indeed a level 4 martial vessel. She jumped away from him, increasing the distance. The girl said the guy could fight her on equal footing. That was amazing. Hualin School could use a student like him. The guy said he wouldn't join her school, the name of which he can't even pronounce. The girl replied that she would make him. The Empress asked how she should understand this scene. She clearly had a bad feeling about it. The guy said that if she wanted to make him, she had to beat him first. She used a bundle of golden silk. That silk tied him up. She took this kid and he was screaming for help. The Empress asked Xiaokezi what was going on. He replied that he didn't understand anything himself. 1 hour later, he asked her to stop. Just as she thought, he had a good body. He asked that she keep his clothes on. She wanted to look at his vessel. He only had one vessel, but it was so powerful, it's rare. He would now be her apprentice and call her master. The boy replies that he will not be her apprentice. He returns to the Empire to take revenge on the queen. The girl replied that he was still a child, for if he went back he would die. He should thank her for getting him out of there. The only thing he can do is to join the Hualin Academy and train. The guy agreed. She tied him up again. Now it was time for them to hit the road. The boy shouted for her to let go, for he could walk on his own. Yunlong mountain range. The guy asked how much farther to go. The girl replied that they were almost there. She welcomed him to the Hualin Martial Arts Academy. Starting today, he officially becomes a disciple in the 9th group. She, Yang Xiue, and his teacher will awaken his fighting spirit. The boy asked where the head of the group and the rest of the students were. The girl replied that he was the only student in Group 9. They entered the Spirit Awakening Hall. The girl asked how come there were so many people in the Spirit Awakening Hall. Those who came were noticed by those who were there. The girl with white hair said it was the beautiful Yang. It was said that she had found a student outside their school. She didn't expect to see her so soon here. The girl named her Kuihui. She asked how she had managed to find such an outstanding student. She turned her attention to the guy and wondered if this short and fat guy was her student. Her sister's taste is getting worse and worse. The girl replied that her student is an incredible talent that comes along once in 100 years. Now, her 9th group will take the first place in the list of combat merits. Kuihui laughed. She asked how she dared to hope for success, since all of her students from the 9th group had once dispersed just because she had low results. She said that the first place on the list would be for the 7th group, as she had many talented students from Tianjin arriving today. The girl replied that quantity doesn't solve anything, because the main thing is the real strength of the student. The process of awakening the spirit begins. In front of them was a soul comprehension artifact that would awaken the martial spirit in the human body. Once awakened, the artifact would glow with bright rays. The quality of the awakened soul determines the color with which the artifact will light up. The color of yellow copper, silver, yellow gold, white gold, and ebony gold. The guy asked Master Yang what level of martial spirit was a passing level. She replied that silver is considered passable, yellow gold is better, white gold is fine. But a person cannot awaken worm gold. It is very rare and almost unreal. She certainly has a white gold fighting spirit after all. She is his teacher. Excellent people like her are not often found. They are really few in number, which makes her soul very wistful. Kuihui said that her disciple would go first and let them wait their turn for now. Master Yang called her a creep. Now Wang Xiaohe could awaken his fighting spirit. Now he's going to show what he can do. It lit up with a golden glow. Qin Yun asked, wondering if this was the martial spirit. The girl said she would show them what real talent means. But the guy had a bronze wind battle spirit, which was the reason why it wasn't allowed. Master Yan started laughing at her. She brought the bronze trash with her and was also saying something to them. It was just hilarious. She tapped him on the head and told him to fuck off, calling the guy useless trash. She won't let anyone make fun of her. It's a good thing she has a lot of students. Li Qinghao was next. He was told to approach and unleash his fighting spirit. He had a bronze fire fighting spirit, causing him to be ineligible as well. The next was Tang Qingyu, who had a bronze water battle spirit, and of course she wasn't missed either. Ma Hongming had a bronze ice battle spirit. Master Yang said that there are indeed a lot of geniuses in her group. Now it was Ye Wei Xuan's turn. The guy said he wouldn't let her down. He was from the E clan, where everyone possesses a thunder battle spirit, which is very strong in itself. People were curious as to what rank his battle spirit was. Clan E is one of the strongest clans in Tianjin, as all the people from this clan are very gifted. He was also told to step up and unleash his fighting spirit. He touched the stone. He was gifted with a golden glow. He had a golden thunder martial spirit that caused him to be admitted. Clan E never disappoints. The golden thunder battle spirit is found in about 1 in 10,000. The girl asked how she felt about her student's talent. Now it was Master Yang's turn. The girl said that was the end of it. The guy asked what the look on his face was. Kihui told him that it was his turn. He should go if he didn't want to make a mess. He wondered what his fighting spirit was like. The stone glowed with a yellow glow. The white-haired woman said, "I think there's another one of the bronze fighting spirit here." But there was more than just a yellow glow. Someone said that among the yellow, there is also a violet glow. He had a purple golden martial spirit. If he has a purple gold martial spirit, it would explain why he is so strong with only 1 solar meridian. His martial spirit was indeed stronger than the martial spirit of an E-clan descendant. Kuihui couldn't believe how it happened. Master Yang said that they would see each other at the squad competition. She didn't expect the guy to have a purple gold fighting spirit. Kuihui's face was so much fun for her to watch. But in the end, at the squad's confrontation, it would only depend on himself. The guy said he only has 1 solar meridian. He's not sure he can win. The girl asked if the guy knew why she had chosen him as her student. The boy, of course, had no idea. She replied that usually people with 1 solar meridian would quit cultivation. But he didn't quit, and had reached the 4th stage of body hardening, which means he has a stronger will than anyone else, which is why he's her apprentice. The guy said that he hadn't cultivated or trained in qi cultivation, but she had plenty of techniques and ways to help him with qi cultivation. She would find something for him later. He thanked his master. She led him to the disciples' dormitory where he would be staying. This is his private room, so he can cultivate here in peace. No one will disturb him. She gave him a scroll with a deep sun energy technique that will help him with his first steps. When he was done with her, have him bring back the scroll, and she would give him a new technique. Also, he shouldn't go outside just for the hell of it. The competition between the squads will be in a few days. When the time comes, she will come to him. If he had any questions, she would be waiting for him in her room. The guy should do a good job with the deep sun energy technique. It was night. He noticed that there was a lot of qi. He pulled out the beads. The beads of the 9 suns that the teacher had given responded to a vast amount of qi. The woman with the pink hair gave the crown prince the beads and told him to keep an eye on them. These beads respond to the 9 varieties of qi. Just like the 9 varieties of spiritual solar meridian, they accelerate his cultivation and will help him rise to a new stage faster. Each time he climbs to the next step, one of the beads will open up so that he can retrieve the items inside it. Each of the beads contains a powerful treasure. Together they will help him become the strongest man on Earth. With the current stage, a guy can only open 1 bead. He tries pouring some qi inside there. An object appeared in front of him. It was a bamboo scroll. It could have been some kind of machinery. It's a spiritual imprint. 36 spiritual imprints, 18 depth imprints, and 9 Dao imprints. Spiritual imprints are needed to create spiritual weapons. They are written on various weapons and implements. The depth imprints are needed to create even stronger weapons. And spiritual Dao imprints are needed to create powerful Dao weapons. Now that he had all these strange prints, he could become a master of lettering. But if anyone finds out about it, he's in big trouble. They might even try to kill him. Such a magnificent treasure was hidden in the first bead. The other beads must have valuable treasures hidden as well. He can't wait to open the remaining ones. But that's enough for today. He'll continue tomorrow. He was asleep. The master came in and said it was time for them to head off to the competition between the new apprentices. The guy asked if they weren't scheduled in a few days. The clan head had come out of seclusion earlier, and the other masters had requested his presence. They cannot be late, for they will be severely punished, or perhaps even an exception. The guy said they should move out. There, they welcomed the newly arrived disciples to Hualin Academy. To allocate resources, they have this little competition between squads. Each troop is authorized to send up to 16 students. The guy asked if this tournament was really that important. If it's not really important, he shouldn't waste his time on it. She answered that the competition between the squads is not just a show fight. It determines the distribution of resources between the squads for the whole year. If he lost, he would get nothing. But if he won, he would get everything he needed. Without enough resources, he wouldn't be able to progress in cultivation faster than others. The guy asked what these resources are. It was 200,000 crystals and 2 mid-level purification pills. This is what the teacher would receive. And later on, the students as well. The squad would also get a high-level technique that the squad's disciples would be able to master. If he wins twice, he will receive double the reward. The reward really wasn't meager. But he was the only one in the squad, which meant he might just be overwhelmed by numbers. The girl told him not to worry. The tournament involves 2 rounds of one-on-one battles. The number of students doesn't matter much. He only needed to win 2 rounds and he would get all the resources he needed. The boy replied that it was quite reasonable. Everyone was asked to pay attention to the table. They're about to start the draw. They were up against the 6th squad. We will now have a battle between the 9th squad and the 6th squad. The representatives of the squads were asked to come up to the platform. Master told him to be careful. Against him was Yan Zhongming, who knows him. The boy remembered that his grandfather had also helped in the theft of one of his solar meridians. He said that Qin Yun should be glad that the Empress had lent his solar meridians for a while. But he would consider asking the Queen to let him live if he started begging him for mercy right now. He wouldn't make his already difficult situation any worse. The boy said his words were brave, but he was so proud, and after all, his grandfather was just a miserable henchman of the Queen. He replied that his grandfather was not a person he could talk about like that. The 6th grade versus 9th grade match has begun. He immediately decided to attack. He wanted to cripple the protagonist. His attack hit the guy. The mentor began to worry about the guy. Yan Zhongming thought he was done with the guy, but how wrong he was. Qin Yun said that he didn't eat much porridge. It felt like his fists were made of absorbent cotton. Yan Zhongming couldn't understand how this was possible. The guy grabbed his arm and sent it flying. He landed face down on the ground. Qin Yun called him a weakling, for that was the case. The winner of this round was Qin Yun from the 9th squad. People were surprised because he had defeated Yan Zhongming with a single technique. They began to wonder if the guy really had 1 set of solar meridians. The guy told his master that this fight was much more boring than he thought it would be. Master hugged him and said it was no wonder she had chosen him as her apprentice. They advanced to the 2nd round. In the 2nd round, the 9th squad was up against the 6th squad. Their representatives were Qin Yun and Wei Xuan. Now they need to get up on stage. The white-haired woman was telling Ye Wei Xuan to teach Qin Yun a lesson. He told her not to worry. He would have done it for Anti-Empress anyway if she hadn't ordered it. Master Yang said that guy had a thunder battle spirit. She advised Qin Yun not to attack him head-on. The guy told his master not to worry. Yes Weishen had seen his fight. He was impressed with how Qin Yun was able to put his opponent down with a single punch. But now they should see if the guy could overpower the punch of an E-clan descendant. The guy enthusiastically replied that he wanted to check it out himself. Yi Weishen said that he was a daredevil. He told the guy to taste his thunderstorm. Hui Hui thinks that this child has come to an end. After all, Wei Xuan is using a spirit-level technique. The guy used the deep solar technique. He was able to withstand the thunderous machinery. His fire began to devour the enemy. Wei Xuan was no longer able to fight. It seemed that Qin Yun was disappointed that this was the end. Hui Hui didn't know how her top disciple and a descendant of the Ye clan could lose. Once again, he defeated his opponent with a single blow. He was congratulated by the principal and given a box containing the award. There were 40 purple crystal coins, that's 40,000 crystals, 4 mid-level QE refining pills, and 2 high-level martial arts techniques. He passed it all on for his master. She finally made up her mind. The boy will now live with her and she will personally teach him. She told him to hurry up and pack his things. Master's room. He needs to take these cleansing pills, for it will help him progress to stage 5. The boy asked if he would die if he ate them all at once. Master told him to just sit there and cultivate, and she would guide him every step of the way. But he still wondered if it would be okay if he ate everything at the same time. He had made up his mind after all. A huge wave of qi swept over him. Some black smoke appeared around him. He didn't realize what it was. He wondered if it could be that this black qi was his second martial spirit. It was weird. All those cleansing pills didn't make him break through, but they helped him form his second martial spirit. He can't let anyone find out. The next day, a mentor came to him. He shouted, wondering if she could knock first before entering. Master said that there was also a girl named Xiao Yuelan. She asked who it was. It was a pink-haired girl. She said it's been quite a while. He confirmed and thinks it's been about 5 years since they've seen each other. She needs to talk to him about something important. She asked if he remembered when their mothers secretly engaged them. There was an engagement contract. She asked if he still had that contract. The guy said he had that contract. The girl told him to keep it. She'll come back for him in a year. And if he doesn't return it, she'll haunt him to the end of the world. The guy asked if he couldn't just give it to her now. Does she really want to make a fool of him on the day of the engagement? The girl replied that she didn't have time for that. And besides, he wasn't even worth her trying to embarrass him. She's gone. The master realized that this girl was his bride to whom he was secretly betrothed. The guy replied that she wasn't really his fiancée. It's just that their parents got engaged when they were kids. So, she's not his fiancée, Master asked. She was here to break the engagement. Maybe she should be taught a lesson. The boy replied that there was no need for that. She would probably forget about it. She said the guy should stay away from women like her. Also, he should focus on his training. That way he would be able to participate in the Heavenly Lion Battle Tournament. The guy asked what kind of tournament it was. It's held once every 5 years and is open to cultivators at the 4th and 5th stage of body hardening. Although it's rare to find disciples who participate in the 4th stage, but she thinks the guy has a chance. The guy replies that he already got enough attention at that fight. And now she's telling him to piss off more people. If he wins first place, she'll grant him one wish. Anything he wants. She wished him good luck in cultivating and told him she would be waiting. The guy asked if she could be a little more serious. He would finally be learning new techniques, namely the step of the blazing cloud and the strike of the blazing light. 3 days later, in the Hall of the Celestial Lion, the minimum requirements of the tournament are either the 4th or 5th stage of body hardening, but not all cultivators at this stage will be able to participate. To be able to fight in this tournament, one must have skills, so he must first pass the test. He asked what the reward would be if he placed first in this tournament. The reward was that he would be able to cultivate in the Heavenly Lion Hot Spring. The Heavenly Lion's spring water is very hot. It is said to have a special property. Being able to cultivate in the hot springs on a Heavenly Lion can greatly increase its cultivation speed. And when they were at the springs, they could also bond with each other. The boy's mind was already filled with lewd thoughts. She told the boy not to be shy. Master wants to see him grow too. The guy started to get embarrassed and told her not to joke like that. They decided to go inside. They came to the check-in area. The master said that Chin Yun from 9th grade wants to enroll. The man said that it wasn't bad since they wanted to gain combat experience, but they shouldn't force themselves too much. The white-haired girl said she shouldn't be so presumptuous. She should know her students' limits. Just because he won the interclass tournament doesn't mean he will always win. After all, he is her only student. It would be terrible if he was injured or even killed at this tournament. It was her again, Kui Hui. She replied that she didn't want to fight her again, so she offered to just see who would perform better at the tournament. As it turned out, Wei Xuan-kun from her class was talking about his abilities. He wants to learn from the guy he'll meet at the tournament. His master told him that Wei Xuan-kun is the son of an inscription master. He is a genius who is at the 5th stage of body tempering. He must avoid any conflict with him. They headed to the practice room before the tournament started. The man said that everyone who would participate in the Heavenly Lion tournament. This year it was a little different from last year. Because of the large number of participants, they changed the rules of the tournament. The participant must travel to the Cloud Dragon mountain range to hunt demons. The participants' ranking is calculated based on the number of demons killed and their ranks. The process of hunting demons is very dangerous. They should not overestimate their strength and hunt demons that are stronger than them. After killing the demon, they need to collect the crystal that is inside its body to get points. The master said it wouldn't be easy. The man pointed the way to the Cloud Dragon mountain range. The time limit is 7 days. If they didn't return in 7 days, they would be disqualified. The Heavenly Lion Battle Tournament starts right now. Master said she couldn't go with him, so he would have to be very careful. He reassured his master. The other competitors had already started running, and someone was shouting that they were going to take first place. Master Yan knew that this time, the Empress would send assassins after him. He must be very careful. The sun was already beginning to set. Shui Hui asked why Wei Xuan-kun was still here. Qin Yun had already entered the Cloud Dragon Mountain Fellows. If he missed this opportunity, it would be harder to kill him later. The guy told her to relax. In his eyes, Qin Yun was already dead. She told him not to be careless. If things didn't go according to plan, the Empress would blame them, and then they would both die. Cloud Dragon Mountain Range. It's going to be night soon, and the guy needs to find the demons. He didn't know where he should start looking, since this place is so huge. He didn't understand where the other participants had gone. The protagonist doesn't see anyone else. Qin Yun was tired. Someone's saliva dripped onto his shoulder. The guy was hungry, but he still didn't notice the one behind him. But something struck him as odd. This caused him to turn around. And then he saw the one who stood behind him. The demon's paw wanted to touch the boy, but he managed to dodge, and now the boy was facing a demon. The demon still wouldn't stop and tried to get to him somehow, but all to no avail. Qin Yun spoke, so the demon didn't blame him for this. He used the solar energy technique. His fist struck right at the demon's head. But he then realized his head was hard. It was painful. First, he decided to run away. Of course, the demon chased after him. He was too close to the boy. It wasn't good for him at all. He remembered the step of the flaming cloud. A bright flame formed near his feet. He ran away so fast that the demon didn't even realize what had happened and was puzzled. Perhaps he was finally able to break away from it. The boy was glad that he had learned the step of the flaming cloud. He realized that killing the demon alone would be difficult for him. First, he has to find a partner to help him with this. He was followed by an assassin sent by the queen who was looking for him. It's morning. The other students were trying to catch another demon, but there was no way they could handle him. It was a rank 5 demon that they can't overpower. A demon attacked the girl and opened its mouth as if it was going to eat her. But the man who had just arrived prevented him from doing so. He asked if the lady was okay, but she pulled his face away and told him to stay away from her, then called him a freak as well. The man seemed to be a little ticked off. Another student thanked him for his help and asked his name. To hide from the assassin sent by the queen, the boy must keep his identity a secret. He must not be exposed. He introduced himself as Wang Yun. The student's name was Ding Tian Chun from the 3rd grade. He offered to join his team and hunt demons together if he didn't have one. The girl said the man just came out of nowhere and looks ugly. He told her to shut up. The man risked his life to save the girl. Yet she makes up all kinds of nonsense about her savior. The boy asked if she had forgotten what their teacher had taught them. The girl said she was sorry. Qin Yun realized that this guy could be trusted. He said he'd like to find a team, too, and thanked him for the invitation. He pointed to his teammates he met along the way. He said the guy could relax because they were all trustworthy. Other students greeted him as well. The girl thinks they don't know anything about this man, but her eldest still wants to team up with him. She has to find a way to get this man kicked out. Another student said that they had collected the crystal and now they could leave. He gave the crystal to Qin Yun because he defeated that demon. The guy said that he shouldn't be so generous. Everyone would get their share. He also asked where he would hunt demons. He replied that they were preparing to be sent to the deep and mountain range. There are many demons there, and there they can get a lot of crystals in a short time. But there are 6th-rank demons in the depths of the mountain range. It is very dangerous. The guy asked what the strongest demons there were. The entire Cloud Dragon mountain range is much larger than the Tiansun Empire. The 2 empires next to it are also connected by the mountain range. There are many treasures in this vast area. Demons can absorb them to constantly evolve. There might be Zhuan beasts there. Qin Yun asked what kind of beasts these were. He was told that the body-hardening sphere corresponds to demonic beasts. The path-tempering sphere corresponds to spiritual beasts, and the Xuan beasts are higher than the path-tempering sphere. He asked about the demonic beast that was all black and looked like a gorilla. It was a nimble monkey. It's a rank 7 demon. It's very dangerous. Ordinary people who encounter it won't be able to survive. The guy said it was rank 7, and now he understood why his techniques were ineffective. How surprised the disciple was that he was able to get away from a rank 7 demon. He said his level of development is really shocking. Another student on the team came up to him and said that they needed more crystals. They can't delay any longer and must go deep into the mountain range. Qin Yun and the others went deep into the Cloud Dragon mountain range to hunt other beasts. Their hunt was going well. 2 days later, after they share the crystals, there will be enough of them to get a reward from the academy. They can come back tomorrow. Someone said to leave the crystals and they could go. He asked who dared to say that, but blood started coming from his eyes. He fell down and spit up blood too. Qin Yun noticed the person upstairs. He was told not to hide and to show himself. The guy said it wasn't bad because he found it. He went down to them. The black-haired guy wished everyone a good morning. As it turned out, it was Jianlan from the 1st class. He said the guy should know the consequences for killing one of his own. Jianlan replied that dead people wouldn't talk. Others said he was being arrogant because he thought he could kill them all. They will help the academy clean up the dirt. The guy called them idiots and used his technique. This caused blood to appear on their bodies, and it was as if they had been pierced. They fell. It was a sonic battle soul. The guy told them to leave because they couldn't beat him. Jianlan recognized that this guy was very perceptive. He told the guy to leave too, and he's keeping him here. Now it would all depend on Qin Yun. The girl screamed for her brother not to do it, but he didn't listen to her and pointed his sword at him. He sent a sound wave at him, but Brother Ding used a crystal shield. Well, his crystal shield will be shattered by the sound waves. Jianlan quickly moved towards him after his shield shattered. He said his speed is as fast as the speed of sound. He used a sonic boom on it. Brother Ding started coughing up blood. Jianlan already wanted to end it. He even said goodbye. His hand wanted to send out the next sound wave, but she was stopped by the protagonist's hand. He told him to stop. Jianlan called him a pathetic ant and told him to let him go. Qin Yun decided to do as the guy wished. His fist slammed into his face. Jianlan flew back from his punch. He slammed into a rock. The dear students were shocked that he had almost defeated him with one punch. Qin Yun said to leave the rest to him. He didn't expect to meet someone as strong as this guy here. He even got curious. He used the sound wave beneath him, and the ground began to tremble. He said it was bad and for everyone to get out of here. Jan Lan used the vibrations of sound waves. It was already a ruined area. Other wounded students lay, most likely unconscious. The guy's disguise is gone. Jian Lan recognized him immediately. He said that only he, the Prince of Tianqing, could remain unharmed when facing his technique. Qin Yun asked, knowing him. It seems like he has become a celebrity. Chen Lan laughed and replied that the Empress had set an astronomical bounty on his head. There were no people who didn't know about him. The guy asked if he really wanted an award. He replied that he had no interest in doing so. However, the queens had already sent Wei Xuan-kun to kill him. If he survived this fight, then they could continue this fight. He asked someone this Wei Xuan-kun is even like this, only talking about him. Wei Xuan-kun is the only inscription master in the academy. He also won first place in the last Heavenly Lion tournament. The guy said that the prince had better find a place where he can hide. Wei Xuan-kun is outside his lily. He said that they will see each other again. Qin Yun asked. He wasn't going to fight him. Doesn't he need the crystals? Shenlan replied to keep these crystals for himself. Qin Yun said that this guy is strange. After a while, Tink's brother woke up.
He asked what had happened and looked at the bag of crystals.
He saw a note there. It said that the guy had attracted the attention of someone powerful, so he left alone since he didn't want to put them in danger. He left these crystals with them. The next time they met, he suggested that they have dinner together. The guy said that Brother Wan should take care of himself. The girl was running somewhere. She said that this Wei Xuan left her alone, and he might try to take all the credit. Her stomach began to rumble. She smelled a delicious odor. It was fried meat. She came to a place where a strong scent was coming from. There was a guy in disguise sitting there frying meat. He asked who was there. The white-haired girl greeted him. The guy realized that it wasn't good. After all, it was Kui Hui. She asked if he could share the food. She could pay in crystal coins. The guy realized she probably didn't recognize him. He told her to eat and leave. After a while, she finally got full. Kui Hui said as she looked at him. He looked very familiar. The guy replied that it couldn't be. She must have made a mistake. The girl said that there are a lot of people hunting for this child. He's probably hiding deep in the woods. She introduced herself and asked what his name was and why he was in such a dangerous place. He introduced himself as Wang Yun. He was training here, and since he was here, he wanted to collect some crystals. The girl suggested teaming up. After all, in such a dangerous place, it is better to have a partner. The guy replied that he just wanted to be alone. He asked her to leave her alone. Qin Yun won't team up with anyone. The girl thinks that he refused the invitation of such a pretty girl, and it looks like she will have to use her technique. She asked to team up again. He immediately stepped away from her and asked what she was doing. She asked if her charm was that bad. He thinks that more dangerous places are actually safer. Those who are hunting him won't guess if he's near Kui Hui. He just needs to keep her by his side, and then his safety will be guaranteed. He agreed to her proposal. The girl was pleased. Qin Yun said that they would not interfere in each other's affairs. Once he collected enough crystals, he would leave the team. But she's already eaten all his meat. He asked how she could eat it all, since it was his meat. The girl replied that they were on the same team, that is, allies, and there was no reason for them to quarrel over such nonsense. The girl said that if he helped her find a person named Qin Yun, she would help him collect the crystals. The boy asked who was the man who had made her look for him in such a dangerous place. She replied that she was here to finish off this arrogant, ugly, and talentless child whom she wanted to beat up at first sight. He asked if she hated him that much. The girl wondered if she really hated him. He's actually a talented student. If it wasn't ordered by the Empress, she wouldn't have done it. But in the end, it was Yang Shiyue's fault. How did she find such a good disciple? The guy said she didn't seem like such a bad person after all. Kui Hui asked how she could be a bad person. She asked why her uncle said that. He replied that it didn't matter, and said to hurry up. They had been walking for a long time, and so she asked if it was time to rest. The guy told her to keep her voice down. If her voice attracted any demons, it wouldn't be very cool. She replied that she shouldn't underestimate her just because she was young. Kui Hui is actually a master of the 6th degree of body hardening. Ordinary demons wouldn't dare approach her. But then she was tied up by a demon. It was a huge green demon that looked like an octopus. He asked if she didn't have the 6th stage of body hardening and demons wouldn't dare to approach her. She replied that it was a demon of the 8th rank, the forest kraken. It was equivalent to the 7th degree of body hardening. Kui Hui asked to save her. He wondered where this demon had come from and agreed to save her. If he uses a sun energy technique or a blazing light strike, she will know who he really is. His disguise will be revealed. He can only use the techniques his mom taught him. He used the air blast technique. Qin Yun struck the forest kraken. His tentacles let go and she began to fall. He caught her and said that since it was a rank 8 demon, they only had one way out, namely running away. But the forest kraken had no thought of letting them go. His tentacles slapped the guy's back. She asked if he was okay. He said he was fine, but it looked like they couldn't get out of here. The girl asked what they should do then. They attack him together to buy time until he finds his weak spot. She replied that he should leave it up to her. The forest kraken is attacking. Kui used the cold element song. This attack allowed the girl to freeze him. Xinyun was already ready to attack. He used the air blast technique again, but Qinyun's attack did not pierce through his skin. He really was solid. The forest kraken also struck him. That attack threw the guy off the demon. Kuei began to worry about her uncle. He landed on the ground. She told the monster to stop and used her technique. Her technique didn't pierce his skin either. He grabbed her again. The guy has to save her. He has no choice in the matter. Although he doesn't know how to use it, he has to rely on it now. He activated the Black Martial Soul. The girl wondered if this darkness was a seismic battle soul. The tentacles of the forest kraken almost reached the guy. In fact, his training is not enough to master this martial soul, and there is a great risk of harming yourself. But he doesn't have time to think about it. It's all or nothing. He hit a forest kraken. His attack was powerful. She caused the kraken to start falling apart. The girl was free of his tentacles. They were finally able to get rid of that monster. She called her uncle really strong, but she could see that he was not in the best of health. Kuei asked what had happened to him. He was lying unconscious, and then he finally woke up. The girl said he finally woke up. The guy asked what happened to him. She replied that his body couldn't withstand the recoil from using the seismic battle soul, and he passed out. The guy asked what the seismic battle soul was. The seismic battle soul is very rare. It has a very strong shockwave. This is the first time the girl has seen it, because of which she doesn't know the details. She asked if the uncle didn't even know the name of his battle soul. The boy joked back and said that he must have forgotten about it because of his injuries. The guy was almost exposed, so he needs to be careful. Kuei asked why don't they go to the Nine Suns spiritual concentration circle since it was so strong. This place is guarded by high-level demons, but together they can easily defeat them and enter the circle. The guy didn't understand, and so he asked what was the benefit of this spiritual circle she was talking about. The Nine Suns spiritual concentration circle was created by the founder of the Spiritual Academy to focus the spiritual energy of the Cloud Dragon mountain range. In the circle, cultivators can absorb a huge amount of spiritual energy to increase their skill. But if there were too many cultivators, the spiritual energy would be depleted. Therefore, the Academy has placed high-level demons to guard the circle. Only the elders of the Academy can enter it. The head of her spiritual martial academy, Zhang, had broken through to the martial path realm just within the Nine Suns spiritual concentration circle. Right now, he can't even control his morale properly. He should raise his sphere level and make himself stronger. He asked what they were waiting for. They have to go. The girl asked if he didn't need to take care of his injuries. Qinyun replied that they were healed. The girl asked me to wait for her. It's morning, and Wei Shuangkun had already attacked the other disciples. He wanted to appropriate the Nine Suns spiritual concentration circle to himself. He replied that the boy's guess was correct. He's finally weeded out the weaklings. Now it's time for the big guy over there. The field was filled with other students. Next on the line was a big blue demon. The girl pointed to the blue light over there. This is the spiritual circle of concentration of the Nine Suns. She suggested walking faster before anyone appropriated it. But then her foot stepped on another student's hand. It was one of the academy students. They didn't realize who could have done it. The girl assumed it was the work of demons. Qin Yun said that it was just an incredible strength, since there were so many people killed. But then she saw something truly interesting. It was a guardian demon. The demon guardian was rank 9, but he was still killed. Perhaps someone is already inside the spiritual circle of the Nine Suns concentration. It was someone very strong, but her attention was caught by some yellow paper. It was a talisman. Qin Yun shouted to throw it away. After all, it is an exploding talisman. The talisman activated and an explosion sounded. But the guy managed to save the girl. He realized it was a trap. Among the dust, the silhouette of a man could be seen. It was Wei Shuangkun. He said that the guy wasn't bad since he dodged his exploding talisman. The girl asked what he was doing here. He went after Qin Yun, didn't he? Now the guy knows it's his killer. He's also killed so many people that the academy won't let him go. The guy recognized Master Kui. He said that he killed those people so that they could enjoy the circle's energy. It would be fine if no one knew about it. specifically the one standing next to her. His talisman exploded near the guy, but the guy replied that he was fine. Wei Xuan-kun didn't understand how this happened either. Qin said that his flame couldn't harm him. He decided to use the lightning talisman. Qin Yun took off his cloak. He easily repelled the attacker's attack. Wei Xuan-kun said that he had a flame-fighting spirit. That was why his flame talisman didn't work. The girl wondered if Uncle didn't possess a seismic martial spirit, how he uses the flame technique. The guy decided to attack so he could taste his flames. Wei Xuan-kun called him an upstart. He activated the earth talisman, but that of course didn't stop the guy. Easily penetrated his shield. This attack threw Wei Xuan further away. Qin Yun thought that he was strong. The girl said it was bad, because now the killer is serious. He replied that it was quite good. It had been a long time since he had fought like that, and now he needs this particular talisman. It was a god talisman. This guy really did have high-level talismans. Qin Yun wanted to attack him, but Wei Xuan-kun's body was covered in some symbols. A golden light appeared around him. It was too fast, and he had time to strike Qin Yun. The guy started spitting up blood. Wei Xuan-kun flew over to him. With his punch, he sealed him into the ground. He decided to deliver the finishing blow, but his fist was stopped by yellow tape. Kui Huai decided not to stay away anymore while her teammate is about to be killed. She told the guy to let him go, he's not a threat. Wei Xuan-kun questioned which side she was on. The girl told my uncle to get out of here. She'll hold him off. Qin Yun thanked her, but he needs to end this on his own. Wei Xuan-kun called him arrogant. Qin Yun apologized to her for keeping this from her. He will no longer hide his identity. It was then that the girl realized that it was Qin Yun. The guy said it was all worth it, so his efforts were not wasted. The spoils are coming his way. Wei Xuan-kun shouted out that he was looking for him. Qin Yun decided to use the seismic battle spirit. Wei Xuan-kun said that he has a seismic fighting spirit. He has all sorts of tricks up his sleeve. Being able to kill someone with 2 battle spirits was exciting for him. Qin Yun shouted for him to attack. The second round of their bout had arrived. It was another massive explosion. Despite the guy's personality, the girl was still worried about him. Wei Xuan-kun replied that he didn't know that there was a pit underneath the circle. The guy was definitely very unlucky, for he fell into it. It was a deep hole. Rocks were definitely not the best place to land, but somehow the guy was still alive. As it turned out, there was a room under that circle. It seemed to be a source of spiritual energy. He saw a man sitting down. Now the guy understood where such a large concentration of spiritual energy came from. This was Lin Binlian's tomb. She was the founder of a spiritual martial academy that disappeared for nearly 1,000 years. She used her body as a nucleus for the spiritual circle. He noticed some kind of trunk. It wasn't a good idea to touch other people's stuff, but he decided to do it nonetheless. He'll just look in there. There was some kind of note. Whoever reads this note must deliver this jade label to the Azure Spirit Star Palace, to the Azure Spirit King. After this is done, the person will receive a reward. It is inside the spatial ring. The founder was too trusting. You could just fail the task and take that ring away. If a guy can survive this ordeal, he will deliver this letter. Since it's his reward, he wants to see what's in it. He channeled some spiritual energy into the ring. Some kind of box appeared from the ring. There were a bunch of spirit potions. They were high-end spirit potions. Each of them was worth a lot in the market. With the help of these spiritual potions and the rich spiritual energy here, he could easily add to his spiritual power. It's been 2 days. He was finally able to reach the 6th level of the martial realm. Even though he had reached the highest realm, he still wouldn't be able to defeat Wei Xuan-kun. He must study the scrolls the founder left behind and make his talismans. Qin Yun finished with his first flame talisman, which exploded in his own hand. He definitely needs to practice more. He tried making a lightning talisman. This talisman fried him like the last one. He doesn't understand why things have gone wrong. He has to deal with it. Meanwhile, the Martial Arts Academy. Someone had told Director Zhang that his son would take first place again this year. The director replied that there is still some time left. It is too early to jump to conclusions. The man replied that this battle tournament had been going on for a week. Some students had already managed to return. The other disciples didn't have very many demonic crystals. Only his son, Wei Xuan-kun, has the most. No one can take the top spot but him. It looks like this is the final result. Master Yan was beginning to worry about her disciple. She didn't understand why he still hadn't returned. Wei Xuan-kun asked Kui Hui why she was so gloomy. She should be happy for him. The master replied that it was fine. And so time ran out, but Qin Yun has arrived. The master was glad to see him. Wei Xuan-kun couldn't believe that this bastard had returned anyway. Master Kui was also in a way happy to see him. He asked the red-haired guy how he was doing. Qin Yun called Wei Xuan-kun smart since he had bothered to steal all those demonic crystals. Wei Xuan-kun grabbed him by the collar and said that he was just lucky, but his luck had just run out. Master Yang told him to stop. The Martial Arts Academy will not tolerate his rude antics. Wei Xuan-kun replied that he would let him go for today, but he shouldn't hope that it would end there. The foreman approached him. Qin Yun replied that he had finally returned. She immediately hugged him and told him that she already knew. After all, he was her student. Director Zhang said to let the Heavenly Lion Combat Tournament end. Now the judge will count everything and announce the results. The judge told the disciples to open their sacks, and now he had finished counting. He was ready to announce the top 5 students who had collected the most demonic crystals. 5th place went to Yin Yun from the 4th squad. She collected 112 demonic crystals. 4th place went to Ryu Gan from the 15th squad. He had collected 149 demonic crystals. 3rd place went to Wang Chen from the 11th squad. He had collected 176 demonic crystals. And now the judge will announce the 1st and 2nd place results. The 2nd place winner was Qin Yun from the 9th squad. He had collected 270 demonic crystals. And the 1st place winner was Wei Xuan-kun from the 7th squad. He had collected 806 demonic crystals. And now everyone has heard the results. The referee will now announce the winner of this battle royale. He was surprisingly Qin Yun. Wei Shen-kun began to argue with the referee. After all, he was the one who should have won. Wei Shen-kun said, "This guy only has 270 demonic crystals, and he has 806. He should be the winner." The judge said that although he had more demon crystals, the guy had a master demon crystal. It was the spirit demon crystal. A demon master crystal, according to the rules, is equal to 1,000 regular crystals. Wei Shen-kun couldn't believe that such a thing was possible. The guy is only at the 4th level of the martial realm. He wouldn't be able to defeat a spirit demon. The judge asked, "So what?" They never discriminated against those with little strength. Wei Xuan-kun shouted that the guy had cheated. Spirit demons have the strength of the martial path realm. A weakling like him who is at the 4th level of the martial realm would not be able to defeat such a demon. Qin Yun thanked him for helping him in the spirit circle. He was now at the 6th level of the martial realm. The guy was saying that his luck was definitely over at this point now. He will destroy it. But he was stopped by his father. He called them strong. The man said that he had already heard about Qin Yun. He is not disappointed in him at all. The man introduced himself as Wei Yun. He congratulated the guy on winning the Heavenly Lion Battle Tournament. Tonight, he is hosting a dinner party at his home, so he invited Qin Yun. Master Yang thanked for the invitation and said that her disciple would definitely come. Then they'll meet a little later. The boy asked if his teacher realized that they were going straight into the bear's den. The girl replied that Master Wei was more cunning than anyone. If they didn't go to him now, he would follow them later. If it's dangerous out there, she'll be sure to protect her favorite student. The judge congratulated him and gave him a pass to the Heavenly Lion Spring. This spring is for body hardening. Also, he could take one person with him. The boy thanked the judge. He can enter the source 3 times using this pass. He asked to use it wisely. The guy said he would go to the spring alone for now. The teacher said they could go to the Heavenly Lion Spring. The boy realized that she wanted to go there too. She told him to stop talking, and now they needed to head to the source. The girl said it was so warm and relaxing here. The guy asked if she could speak a little quieter. She replied that it had been a long time since she had been to the source of the Heavenly Lion. Now that she had perfected it, she hoped her techniques would add to its power. The guy asked if she was doing it on purpose. Men and girls should wash separately. She told him not to be shy. Let his teacher help him wash his back. The guy said no. He leaves, she stays. Master Yan told him to wait and touched his shoulder. She asked if the guy couldn't feel the warmth rising up his body. The guy yelled at her for saying such a thing, but then he actually felt warmth rushing through his body. His channels were clear now. Since they've finished tempering, now they have to go. They need to see what Master Wei has prepared there. It's evening. The guards announced that Yan Shiyue and Qin Yun had arrived. The man said he had been waiting for them for a long time. He pointed to their seats and told them to sit down. The master thanked him. Since the guests have already arrived, they should start the dinner party. He decided to introduce the 2 guests that had traveled a long way from the imperial city. It was the country's great general, Yan. The man said that Qin Yun should already know him. Of course the boy knew the old man. He was one of the men who retrieved his meridians. The man thanked Qin Yun for coming to his dinner party. He called him a genius among the new disciples, considering how he defeated his son. Qin Yun thanked him as well. They were both from the Martial Arts Academy. This was not only his achievement, but also the achievement of the entire academy. Yan Zhongming said that this child had been misled with a female demonic master. Even though they extracted his 4 meridians, he was still cultivating demonic techniques. This is just a little demon that is not worthy of his praise. Wei Xuan-kun replied that this was correct. If he didn't practice demonic techniques, he wouldn't be able to defeat the spirit demon and obtain the demon master crystal. Master Yang replied that this boy was her apprentice, and he had not trained any demonic techniques. The solar techniques he learned from her. Yan Zhongming said that she might not know, but in Qin country, they think that Qin Yun is practicing demonic techniques. It's hard to believe otherwise just from her words. Also, the reputation of the martial arts academy was ruined because of this guy. Now the martial arts academies of other countries are laughing at them. The girl said that if she sent 1,000 people spreading rumors that her disciple was cultivating demonic techniques, she doesn't think the entire country would believe that he was actually doing it. The man asked what the guy would say to that. Qin Yun said that, to be honest, the reason why he was able to defeat the spirit demon and obtain the crystal was because he had learned how to create talismans. They had brought him many benefits. Wei Xuan-kun couldn't believe that this kid knew how to create talismans. The man only laughed and said that the guy knew how to joke. He asked if he really thought he could make talismans all the time. The first condition for creating a talisman is to be a master of inscribing, and it takes more than a few years to become one. It's very hard to believe that, because the guy is very young. The guy replied that it was just a coincidence. The old man suggested that he compete with other masters in creating talismans. If the boy could create even one, it would prove his innocence. The man asked what the guy thought about it, because it was a good suggestion. Qin Yun said that he liked it too. The master asked when he had time to learn how to make talismans. She told him to stop joking. The boy calmed her down. The man said that his son would then come out against Qin Yun. Wei Xuan-kun was in agreement with this. It's time for the test. The father told his son to hold back. He must not worsen the relationship that had been built between them today. The guy said he would certainly listen to what he had to say. The master shouted for her apprentice to tear it up. After he won, they would go to celebrate the victory. The boy replied that he would try. The man decided to explain the rules now that they were ready. They both have to use red sand and yellow paper to make their mascots. They should make talismans of wind, lightning, water, and flame, and also use them to attack the opponent. If the contestants have 2 wins and 2 losses each, there will be a tie. If the contestant did not have time to dodge and was hit by the opponent's mascot, the one who received damage lost. If there was no damage to anyone, the one who made the talisman faster wins. Now they have to make their first lightning mascot. Wei Xuan-kun immediately started making it and quickly finished it, then pointed it at Qin Yun. It was very fast for him. He seemed to have managed to dodge his talisman, and the winner of the lightning talisman was Wei Xuan-kun. He said that he was fast today. The old man said he told them that this child was nothing. If he doesn't use his demonic powers, he will lose. The guy knows that Wei Xuan-kun creates talismans faster than him. He thinks of a way he can win. The next round was to create a wind mascot. It began. He doesn't know how to make a wind talisman. If they fight for speed, he will probably lose. She wonders how he can defend himself. Wei Xuan-kun had already made a talisman and threw it at him. Qin Yun also made a talisman and threw it into his attack. Wei Xuan-kun thinks this guy is crazy. He threw his talisman right on the ground. But here, his talisman had somehow blocked Wei Xuan-kun's talisman attack. Wei Xuan-kun didn't realize how his wind talisman had been blocked. Qin Yun created a wind talisman, but Wei Xuan-kun was faster, so he won the second round. In the next round, he wants to destroy the guy with his flame talisman. In the third round, as expected, you had to create a flame talisman. The round had begun. He told the guy to get ready to die and laughed. Sengum der flame talisman. He thinks that with this flame talisman, he won't win. He pondered how he could use his knowledge that he had received from the great master. If the scroll is to be believed, he can channel a bit of his battle spirit into the talisman. His strength will be increased based on his spirit power. Therefore, he will. Wei Xuan-kun pointed the talisman in his direction with a huge stream of flames. Qin Yun had no choice but to respond to his attack. Wei Xuan-kun asked, did he really think that such a small flame would harm him in any way? His flame was indeed small, but somehow he blocked his attack again. But Qin Yun's flame talisman had even broken through Wei Xuan-kun's talisman. Wei Xuan-kun didn't understand why his own flame had returned to him. His father was getting worried. Qin Yun said that his flame was weak, so he would get his own back. His upper garment was burned, and he was lying on the ground. The teacher praised her student. The boy said he overdid it a bit. He hopes Master Wei will forgive him. The man couldn't hold back any longer and called him a bastard. The old man couldn't believe that this guy had defeated Wei Xuan-kun without using demonic power. He didn't know how Qin Yun had become so strong in such a short time. And the winner of the third round was Qin Yun. The servant who examined Wei Xuan-kun lying on the ground said that he had dropped out. He would no longer be able to compete. The master replied that the man had now seen everything. Her apprentice had not used any demonic power. The old man replied that now they were sure the guy wasn't practicing demonic techniques, but that didn't mean his teacher wasn't practicing them. Master Yan replied that it didn't matter what it would take to do, but she wanted to hear his apology. If they don't admit their mistake and apologize to her student, they might forget about the martial arts academy forever. The old man said that he had once heard that this girl was a platinum martial spirit master who had ascended to the ninefold body tempering sphere. It seems that this is true. In the end, no one here is her opponent, so it's time to retreat. The man told her to calm down, and the general would give a satisfactory answer. He apologizes to Qin Yun, and they give him 10,000 coins in compensation. Master told him to deliver the coins to her disciple's residence immediately. If he went back to his ways, she would destroy his house. The boy was surprised that there were so many coins. Master Yan replied that it was a compensation from the generals of 10,000 coins. It was more than enough to buy a lot of training materials. The student thanked his teacher. She replied that it was what he deserved. He should cultivate more, starting tomorrow. She also told him not to go out alone. Grandmaster Wei and General Yang might do something bad to him. He should only train in her presence. The boy replied that he would be more careful. In the royal palace, the subordinate asked what they should do. The guy knows how to make talismans and practices powerful techniques. Wei Xuan-kun was beaten by him. The empress replied that the lousy man had made such a mess. They shouldn't worry about him. They should just wait for her father to break through to the martial Wei realm, after which the entire empire would be theirs, and they would deal with that lousy guy. The most important thing right now is to secure the marriage of the prince and Xiao Yu Lan. A subordinate asked if the emperor would break through soon. The empress replied that probably. So many spirit potions really made a guy feel more powerful. Master Yang came over and said that the head of the inscription temple wanted to see him in the main hall. Now things start to change for the guy. The head of the temple himself wants to see him. The head of the temple asked if he was Qin Yun. The guy replied that it was him and greeted him. He asked what the head of the temple wanted him to do. He said that the guy defeated Wei Xuan-kun at such a young age. This is a significant feat for him. The head asked, who taught him that? Qin Yun replied that it was his teacher who taught him how to make talismans. He is the head of the inscription temple, whose name is Duan Gan. He is here to give Qin Yun the title of Novice Inscription Master. This is the badge of a Novice Inscription Master, with which he can enter the Temple of Inscriptions and sell a spiritual talisman. He can also receive some information. The guy replied that he was a student of a martial arts academy, and because of that, he couldn't join the Temple of Inscriptions. Duan Gan said like this, he may not join officially, but just come to the temple and he will train Qin Yun. The boy called him teacher and promised to come to the temple. He also said that he would become his disciple. Apprentice dormitory. Master Yan glanced at the badge and asked if it was the badge of a novice inscription master. Now he could not be afraid of Grandmaster Wei and General Yan, for they would not dare to offend the inscription temple. She will need to leave to complete her task, and let him go to the Temple of Inscriptions to improve and become stronger. The boy wondered if the Temple of Draftsmanship was so powerful. The Empress had tried to go against them, hadn't she? The girl replied that the Temple of Inscriptions watches over every inscription master. It is said to have existed for 10,000 years. Temples also exist in other countries and regions. They don't even fear the power of the Empire because of their mysterious power. If the guy accomplishes something in the temple, maybe he can get revenge on the Empress. He will make every possible effort in the temple. The next day, he was on his way to the Temple of Inscriptions, but suddenly Qin Yun stopped. He told them to come out because there was no use hiding. He'd already found them. They came out of their hiding place. It was Yang Junmin. He said that the guy was living up to his reputation because he was able to detect their presence. The guy asked if he was here to kill him. His current rank slightly doesn't allow him to do that. He replied that he wouldn't lift a finger to kill this guy, but some huge bell was flying at him from above. He completely shut the guy down. Yang Zhongming said that with this spiritual power provided by his master, capturing Qin Yun was as easy as taking a candy from a child. The guy just let his guard down for a second, and now he was in trouble. Yang Zhongming replied that not only could this bell trap him, when combined with the spiritual hammer, it would turn to mush. Another man asked to be allowed to finish him off with his spiritual hammer. He wished him dead and wanted to strike him with his hammer. But he was thwarted by a technique involving a sound wave. He fell. It was Jian Lan who said that. How brave of him. Attacking a person secretly, and using spiritual treasures to do so. Yang Zhongming asked what Jianlan was doing here and why he was helping Qin Yun. He must know that Junman is working for the Empress. Doesn't he realize what could happen to him after that? Jinlan used his favorite phrase, namely, dead men don't talk. Others shouted that this guy was crazy and they should run away. Young Junman called the guy who was running away a coward. But of course, the black-haired man won't let anyone escape. He used a sonic wave and hit the guy who was running. Yang Zhongming looked worriedly at the falling guy. Janlan said that he would be next. He said that they shouldn't fight with each other. He doesn't know why Jianlan is helping Qin Yun, but he must know the reward for him. 100,000 coins and more stuff from the Empress herself. They can share the reward and gain the Empress's favor. That should be very exciting. But then a fist charged into his face. He fell to the ground and blood flowed from his mouth. Qin Yun destroyed the bell. He wondered if this guy really wanted to catch him with such a low-level pacifier. His old man was too stingy unless he gave something stronger. Janlan recognized him as strong and said that his help seemed to be useless. Qin Yun asked why he was here again. He replied that the academy had recently recommended him to the Temple of Inscriptions. So Janlan had met the guy completely by chance. Qin Yun asked, then why did he help him? Janlan said that the guy misunderstood him. He just didn't like them. Qin Yun shouted that he was already badly beaten up, so why did he kill him? Jianlan replied that if he survived, he would tell the Empress about him. And if everyone is dead, the Empress would just think that it was the guy who killed them all. Besides, people like Qin Yun would only attract assassins. He himself would gladly stick a knife in his back. Qin Yun replied that then he would have to kill him now. But if he was going to go to the Temple of Inscriptions with him, he should promise not to kill anyone, or else he wouldn't be so friendly. Janlan laughed. If he killed him now, he wouldn't find another opponent with the same potential as the guy. He promised that he wouldn't kill anyone, unless of course they attacked first. Qin Yun called him a madman. Meanwhile, a little while later, a girl was running after them. She thinks it is. They died of some kind of mental influence. The girl thinks that Qin Yun is practicing some demonic skills. Qin Yun asked, if he didn't know how to make talismans, why is he going there? Jianlan replied that recently the Blue Star Palace descended into their world, and only people from the Inscription Temple have the right to enter there. Every disciple in every country goes to their own Inscription Temple, even the so-called best from the Qin Heavenly Country. Qin Zhengfeng. Qin Yun asked about Prince Qin Zhengfeng. Jianlan replied that this prince should be much older than him, but he was already at the 7th level of body tempering. He cannot allow people like him to leave. Being able to kill a master of the 7th level of body hardening is so exhilarating to him. Qin Yun was once again convinced that this guy was a complete nutcase. The Temple of Inscriptions. The entrance of this temple is so empty. It looks like the Sleeping Dragon's battle meeting won't be soon. Qin Yun asked what this Sleeping Dragon martial gathering was. Was there anything else he hadn't told him? To join a meeting, he needs to be on a team. It must be a team of 3. The first 3 teams will be able to go to the blue area. But the trouble was, there were only 2 of them. There's one other place. Maybe they should just pick a random person. Qin Yun asked if he had a plan. He said that he had to register first. Qin Yun asked if he could not unite with him. The girl also came to the Temple of Inscription. She must find out if Qin Yun practiced any demonic techniques. The man asked if they were students of the Martial Arts Academy, and if they wanted to join the Sleeping Dragon Martial Gathering. They can't join since they only have 2 people on their team. The rules require a team of either 3 or 5 people. They need to recruit more people and then come to registration. Jin Lan asked what they should do. Qin Yun said that it was fine if they didn't join. He actually came here to learn how to make talismans properly. The girl asked. They were 1 person short. In that case, she will join their team. Qin Yun seemed to recognize this woman. She called his name and said the guy wouldn't be disappointed. The girl would put their team in the top 3. Qin Yun asked how this girl knew him. She replied that the guy was famous throughout the country. The news of his victory over Wei Xuan Kun flew all over the empire. Jinlan replied that they would team up with the girl. She was a master at the 7th level of body tempering. The guy was surprised that she was at such a high level at a young age. Qin Yun asked what level Jianlan was at. Jianlan replied that he was also at the 7th body hairpin level like that girl. It was then that the guy realized that his cultivation level was too low. That was bad. Jianlan told her that they would take her on their team. But if she's up to something bad, the guy will tear her apart himself. The girl said that he was the infamous Yunlan, who had killed many young masters in the Celestial Empire. They would deal with it soon. Jinlan was proud that he had already become famous in this country. Qin Yun replied that he felt that he was sadly famous. Now they can finally register. They were given 3 seals. The sleeping dragon battle meeting would start in 3 days. They shouldn't be late. Qin Yun asked what the pink-haired girl's name was. She introduced herself as Meng Fei Lin, who was from the Celestial Empire. She was pleased to meet them. If they have no more questions, then she leaves. Meng Fei Lin will find the boys on the day of the battle meeting. Qin Yun was surprised that the girl wouldn't go with him. Jinlan told the guy not to think about her. He asked where they were going to live now. Jinlan replied that the guy was a master of inscriptions. His badge should provide them with lodging and 3 meals a day for every day. Qin Yun didn't think that his badge was so useful. They began to look around the place where they would be living for now. Qin Yun was surprised by such luxury and couldn't believe that they could live here for free. Jinlan said, "The guy with this badge can do more than that." He would soon find out that he was capable of much more. Qin Yun asked where that black-haired psycho was going to live. Jinlan said that he didn't have a badge, so he would live with him. Qin Yun asked. He only teamed up with him because he wanted to gain benefits. Jinlan masterfully pretended that he wasn't. He replied that the inn outside was very expensive, and he was just a disciple who couldn't make money for it. He also remembered that he had to do something tonight, so he'll be back a little later. Qin Yun had a feeling that this crazy person would definitely get into trouble. The Great Temple of Inscriptions. Someone asked, wondering if Qin Yun had joined the Sleeping Dragon martial gathering. The man replied that Jianlan was also with him. There was also a pink-haired woman wearing a mask. It was Prince Qin Zhengfeng. He realized that Qin Yun also wanted to enter the Blue Star Palace. But this brat only has 1 solar vessel, and he lets himself think about such things. Wei Xuankun's father said that this child was at the 6th level of the body tempering realm. He definitely shouldn't be underestimated. His son was badly wounded by that bastard. He's still in a coma. The father hopes the prince will help him get revenge. Prince Qin Zhengfeng told him not to worry. At this gathering, he would catch Qin Yun and finally retrieve his last vessel. When that happens, he will have 7 solar spirit vessels. Qin Zhengfeng will definitely become invincible. He told them to return first, for the prince still had business to attend to. They obeyed the prince. Qin Zhengfeng asked what the outsider he called his friend was here for. He asked him to come down and tell him. It was Jianlan. He replied that he was quickly found. Qin Zhengfeng assumed that this guy was quite strong since he was able to sneak in here undetected. Jianlan introduced himself. He was here to greet Prince Qin. Qin Zhengfeng asked if his brother, Qin Yun, had sent this guy to kill him. Couldn't Qin Yun come to him himself? Jianlan replied that no one had sent him here. The guy just decided to test his strength, and the prince was just a tool to test his strength. His sound wave headed in the direction of the prince. Qin Zhengfeng said that it was a very weak punch. He counterattacked Jianlan. It was a medium explosion, but Jianlan escaped so quickly. The prince recognized it as quite strong, considering he had a lot of his own strength to put in. Jianlan walked while blood dripped behind him. He was injured. Now, he has learned firsthand that the prince lives up to his reputation. The boy needs to train to fight him with dignity. Qin Yun was already asleep at such a time. Jianlan barely made it here, and immediately fell to the floor. With this, he woke up Qin Yun, who was already ready to deal with the enemy. But then he realized that it was Jianlan with severe injuries. Qin Yun bandaged his wounds. The boy wondered who could have beaten him so badly. Without thinking long, he immediately came to the conclusion that Qin Zhengfeng had done it. Jianlan was strong, but he was still beaten up so badly. Qin Yun thought how much Qin Zhengfeng had advanced to achieve such a result. Qin Yun needs medicine to cure Yanlan's wounds. Luckily, the guy had plenty of potions in his ring. From his ring came a box with the very same pile of greens. He found a healing potion that could be used. Qin Yun put this potion to Jianlan's mouth, not knowing if he was doing it right. Kendang woke up. He began to cough up after the potion. Jianlan asked, "This guy wanted to kill him." Qin Yun was glad that this potion was working. He said that Qin Zhengfeng's cultivation level was equal to Jianlan's. Qin Yun asked what the guy thought about it. Jianlan replied that he couldn't even strike him because he had as many as 6 solar spirit vessels. Qin Yun began to guess that he was completely matched with the vessels he received from him. Jianlan said that this process can only happen to people who are related by blood ties. How ironic it was, since all of his enemies are his own family. But then the guys immediately became wary, for they sensed a murderous aura. A man with red hair and a red beard entered their room. Qin Yun asked who he was. The man replied that he was Fire Master Ming Jun, who had come for their heads. Qin Yun immediately asked if Prince Qin Zhengfeng had sent this man. The man replied that he had been sent by the prince himself. It is an honor to die by his blade. Qin Yun told him not to get cocky. After all, it was not a fact that a man could overpower the two of them. But Jianlan replied that he was seriously injured. Therefore, The guy would have to decide everything on his own. The man wasted no time and attacked him immediately. Qin Yun easily dodged his punch. He used the technique of solar energy. The man replied that such weak holds would not help him. They would not be able to harm him. It was close to him. Qin Yun said that if a man ruined his clothes, he would regret it. He had just bought this coat, but it was too late, for there was a scratch on his clothes, which started to make the guy angry. The man said the boy was already paralyzed with fear. The man thought that with one punch he was about to finish this guy off, but it didn't work out. Qin Yun was furious because this man dared to tear his clothes. He flew off headfirst. Qin Yun thought about what he should do better. It looked like he would have to stitch again. Jian Lan said that the prince knows where they live. They can't stay here anymore. Qin Yun asked then where they should go. Jian Lan replied that of course to their dear teammate. The Temple of Inscriptions, the female part. The girl was taking a bath and the room was filled with the smell of incense. She wondered if Qin Yun being with this psycho was normal. But then they burst into her peace and apologized for the intrusion. The girl looked back in horror and asked who it was. Qin Yun asked if they could stay here for a while. But then 2 stools flew into their faces. There was blood coming out of the guys' noses. The girl said they seriously can't just stay here. She asked what they were here for. Qin Yun replied that their location was discovered by Prince Qin Zhengfeng, so they wanted to stay here. The girl screamed that he was abusing her. Who would ever want to live with 2 men under the same roof? Jianlin said that the sleeping dragon battle meeting would start soon. Their living together could help defend against other teams. The girl seemed to agree and told them to go to their room. But they would have to take care of the food themselves. Qin Yun said that they were very grateful to her. The girl replied that she wanted to rest and told them to go. But their room was like an ordinary vault. They realized the insidiousness of this woman. The Blue Star Palace descends into the mortal realm once every 10 years. The creator of the Blue Star Palace, Emperor Liang Xiao, selects the best students from each academy. It is known that every disciple goes to the Temple of Draftsmanship to enter the Blue Star Palace. And so, a great many students from each academy gathered in the Temple of Inscriptions. They were greeted by the manager of the Temple of Inscriptions and told that he would be in charge of the Sleeping Dragon tournament. Since they entered this tournament to enter the Blue Star Palace, they have to fight against other candidates. In this way, they can reach the finals after passing all the tests. The student asked if they would be placed randomly. Wouldn't that decide their strength? The manager said that this tournament was not only based on physical strength, but also on the ability to create talismans, medicines, tools, and even knowledge of other cultivation studies. It takes more than just physical strength to win a tournament. He hopes that every student will have a good result. The Sleeping Dragon Battle Tournament starts right now, and now it was finally the girl's turn. In this tournament, she is a judge and host. She asked me to take care of her. She pointed to the screen. Who's against who will be determined automatically, so the teams don't have to do it themselves. The draw has begun. Here comes the first pairing. The Great Holy Academy versus the Martial Academy of Light. Now both teams have to go out. 4 people came onto the stage that represented the Martial Academy of Light. One of the disciples said that the Light Martial Academy was led by a master who had a level 6 body hardening. A representative of the Great Holy Academy came out. A participant asked if their academy sent only one of him to fight them. They are making a mockery of them. A spokesman for the Great Holy Academy called them garbage. This angered the Light Martial Academy and they attacked him. Meanwhile, Qin Yun's team was just heading into the tournament. Meng Feiling called them a lazy bunch, skipping such an important competition to sleep, and she had yet to arrive to wake them up. If they were late, it would be on their conscience. Qin Yun replied that they slept on the cold ground in the firewood storage. He only managed to fall asleep in the morning. Meng Feiling thought that the guy was saying that it was now also her fault. The guy replied that he didn't say anything like that. Jian Lan said that if they missed their draw, they would not participate in the tournament. Qin Yun said that it was fine. He is just here to learn how to make talismans. Mei Feiling suddenly touched him, which startled the guy a little. Meng Feilin said his father and fiancé are waiting for him to save them, and his teacher is waiting for him to help him restore her pure name. So he must enter the Blue Star Palace and become stronger. Qin Yun asked how she knew about his fiancé. Jian Lan started joking about how he didn't know that his fiancé had left him. Qin Yun told him to shut up. Meng Feiling turned around and replied that his fiancé was probably in trouble right now. Qin Wen inquired for trouble, but the girl didn't answer anything. They finally came to the arena. The guy couldn't believe that the fight was already over. The representative of the Great Saint Academy beat the representatives of the Martial Academy of Light. The guy said he lost. He begged for mercy. But the representative of the Great Holy Academy replied that weaklings like this guy didn't deserve to live. His attack hit the representative of the Light Martial Academy. Qin wondered if it was just his imagination or not. His technique was similar to Jianlan's. Jinlan replied that it was true, because this guy is his brother, Jianfeng. His brother was at the 7th level of the body tempering realm. He thinks that Jianfeng might be stronger than back then. He has now entered the Great Saint Academy. Jianlan knows that they will have great obstacles in their way. Meng Feilin replied that the Great Saint Academy is the best academy in the Qing country. There is only one person representing them in the tournament. The other academies also have their own secrets. Qin Yun realized that climbing to the top would definitely not be easy. The referee said they will now begin the second battle. Everyone was looking at the screen, because now they would recognize the next contestants. The next round is spiritual food preparation. Martial Arts Academy versus Jade Kirin Academy. The judge invited the contestants to come out. Meng Feiling asked what they would do, since it was cooking spiritual food. Jianlan said that it is excellent. Meng Feilin asked if they could cook. Qin Yun said that he could cook several dishes. Jianlan replied that he was the head chef at the Martial Arts Academy. Meng Feilin thought it was strange. After all, in their time, all the guys could cook, while she couldn't cook the simplest of dishes. The cooking area was already ready. The judge said that both dishes to be made from the selected ingredients could be sent back by one person or the whole team. The results will be determined by the judges. Representatives from the Martial Arts Academy took their seats. The representatives of the Jade Kirin Academy also did so. The guy was saying that they all looked so helpless. He was confident that they would defeat them. He is dubbed the Super Chef, which makes him their misfortune. Xin Yun said that the cooking will be handled by Jianlan. He is confident in his cutting technique and will prepare the ingredients. Meng Feiling replied, "It's not just cooking. Later on, unexpected things will happen. A guy should use everything he knows how to do." Qin doesn't know what could even happen. The judge told them to get the ingredients. They were in this tough beetle shell. As they already know, the beetle is a rank 3 spirit beast. Its shell is very hard. The cooks must not only have culinary skills, but also enough strength to break the shell. The guy started to get nervous, because this is bad. Jianlan replied that it would be a bit difficult. The guy yelled for that shell to be given to him. The girl used her ribbon. Her ribbon wrapped around this shell. She was telling her boss to break it now. After her words, she pointed a sliver of shell toward the cook. The guy had already prepared to smash it. His knife was pointing straight toward the shell. But unfortunately, he failed. The beetle's shell remained intact. The chef's knife began to disintegrate into small pieces from the impact. Part of his arm was red and he yelled that it hurt a lot. Another team member said that the boss's techniques couldn't even scratch the shell. Now it was the turn of the Martial Arts Academy. Xinyan to do his best to break this shell. His knife headed toward the beetle shell as well. But as expected, it didn't work out for him either. Now he realized it was really hard. The boss said that if they couldn't open it up either, it was a draw. They could use other methods to end the round. The judge responded that if both teams could not cut the shell, they would be eliminated from the competition. Jinlan said that he couldn't have imagined that they would leave the competition in the first round. Qin Yun should use the shockwave martial spirit. But if he gets caught, it won't end well. He could only cover it up with his fiery martial spirit combined with the sun energy technique. And after that, he can use it to its full potential. His hand was already near the beetle's shell for another strike. He did it. His hand went through the shell. He was pleased that he was able to do so. Meng Feiling wondered how he could actually cut the beetle shell with a single blow. After all, he only had one solar spirit vessel. Jianlan recognized that this guy was actually quite strong. He had underestimated him. Qin Yun started slicing the meat. He handed over his job to Jianlan and said that it was up to him now. Jianlan replied to leave it to him. He wouldn't fail. He started roasting the meat over medium heat. After that, he poured the sauce over it. Now everything was ready. The referee said that the Martial Arts Academy has finished its course. The battle is over. The boss didn't understand how this could have happened. The dish was approved by all the judges. Of course, this round was won by the Martial Arts Academy. Meng Feilin told Qin Yun that their victory would attract the prince's attention. He would definitely set something up in the next round. If Qin Zhengfeng was thinking of setting something up, he would love to see what the prince could come up with. A little later, he was ordered to change the order and let the Martial Arts Academy fight the Great Saint Academy. The prince replied that he spoke correctly. This should be easy for him. He replied that he would not interfere with the Sleeping Dragon's battle meeting. Qin Zhengfeng asked if he was afraid of offending the Qin Heavenly Empire. The man replied that not one bit. Qin Zhengfeng asked, "Then what about him?" He replied that he didn't expect him to join forces with the Qin Heavenly Empire to force the man to interfere in the tournament. He replied that he wasn't interested in the tournament at all, but he likes his Temple of Inscriptions. The man realized he was here because of the temple. He was too arrogant. The head of the temple dared him to insult him, so he must prepare to die. But it didn't scare him in any way. Their fight continued. Qin Zhengfeng said that it would be bad if they attracted someone's attention. The cloaked man told him to relax. Every inscription temple in the Qin Heavenly Empire was now his. Other than this manager, no one will be an obstacle. Very soon, every temple of inscriptions in this land will be controlled by the Blue Star Palace. Residential area. Jianfeng said that they had changed the order right behind their backs. They are clearly using them to take out Qin Yun, while the Empress just observes and benefits from it. She sees them as mere pawns in her game. Unknown told him not to be impertinent. It's not just the Empress behind this. There's a stronger person behind it. Jinfeng replied that they didn't even care about honor. The other strangers said forget about the word or honor. They just didn't expect that his brother and her sister were on Qin Yun's team. The girl was surprised that her sister really thought no one would recognize her in that idiotic mask. But she wants to know why his stupid brother and her idiot sister are teaming up with this trash prince, who only has one solar spirit vessel left. Meanwhile, Meng Feiling and Jianlan sneered. The girl suggested that they might have been talking about them. The next day, the referee announced that the draw would begin right away. Great Saint Academy was against a martial arts academy. These academies will meet in battle. Someone shouted that they didn't expect to see the Great Saint Academy so quickly. They would simply destroy the opposing team. The judge invited the contestants to the stage. The martial arts academy was already ready. This time, the representatives of the Great Holy Academy were 3. Meng Feilin immediately recognized her sister, whose name was Yue Mei. Yue Mei replied that it had been quite a while since they had seen each other. Qin Ayun said that this girl was addressing her. He asked if she knew her. Meng Feiling replied that she didn't know. She was still trying to pretend, but she wasn't very good at it. Jianlan said that he could fight his brother. Just the thought of his death was stirring him up. Qin Yun was convinced for the umpteenth time that this guy was just crazy. Jin Feng called Jinlan a disgrace to their family. The referee told the team leaders to choose the rules of combat. He said he'd heard about Qin Yun. He's so young, but he's already become a hero. Qin Yun replied, letting him choose the rules of the fight. Jian Feng offered to fight one-on-one. Qin Yun asked as they decided who would fight whom. Jianfeng replied that the ladies would fight first. In the second round, he will fight against his brother, Jianlan. Finally, they have someone on their team who is truly interested in Qin Yun. Qin Yun will fight him. Qin Yun was surprised that he was interested in him. He asked if he knew him. He was answered that the guy would see later. Qin Yun said, agreeing with his rules. The commanders returned to their teams. Jianlan asked if they were finished. He then asked what rules they had discussed. Qin Yun replied that it would be a duel. Jianlan will fight with his brother, and Fei Lin with that girl. The guy who wears the hat will be his opponent. Meng Feiling was already beginning to feel anxious about fighting with her sister. Yue Mei was only ecstatic at such happy news. The judge said that since both sides are done with their discussion, the round begins. Xiao Yue Mei will participate in the first round from the Great Saint Academy. Qin Un told Feiling to be careful. The girl replied not to worry him. She understood everything. The judge replied that the Martial Arts Academy also sent the girl to fight. The participants stood against each other. Xiao Yue Mei said that they would fight each other. 4 years had passed since their last fight. Meng Feiling replied, becoming when she realizes that she is starting to overdo it. She doesn't want to hurt her sister. Xiao Yue Mi replied that although she was weak before, but now the victory would definitely be in her hands. She'll be able to prove to her father that she outdid her. Xiao Yue Mei had a purple golden martial spirit. It was a rare sight. Feiling was surprised that her sister had reached the 7th level of body hardening. Xiao Yue Mei let a purple flame ray beam at her. This attack caused the girl's mask to come off. She recoiled. Xiao Yue Mi replied that her disguise was now useless. Qin Yun recognized the girl. It was Xiao Yue Lan. Jian Lan speculated that the girl might have used disguise to get closer to Qin Yun. Xiao Yeki Mi advised Xiao Yue Lan to just give up. Xiao Yue Lan replied that she would no longer hold back. Xiao Yue Mei called her stubborn. She asked if her sister couldn't see that she had already surpassed Xiao Yue Lan. She wondered if the girl would be able to withstand another one of her strong attacks. Xiao Yue Lan easily dodged her attack. She destroyed her subject. Xiao Yue Lan replied that she had already lost. She has too many open seats. Xiao Yue Mei said that it is impossible. She can't lose to her. Xiao Yue Lan quickly approached her. Such speed surprised Xiao Yue Mei. Xiao Yue Lan punched her in the stomach. She told her sister to get some rest. Xiao Yue fell down. Jian Feng was surprised that the girl was so fast. Qin Yun asked why the girl was hiding her identity. Does she have something to say to Qin Yun? Xiao Yue Lan will tell him after the competition. Right now, they should focus on the battle. The referee announced that Martial Arts Academy had won the first round. Prince Qin Zhengfeng and the cloaked stranger watched the round. Qin Zhengfeng replied that they had lost too easily in the first round. The stranger told him to relax. If the need arose, he could intervene. The second round has begun. Jianfeng from the Great Saint Academy versus Jianlan from the Martial Arts Academy, Jianfeng said as he finally met. Jianlan asked if he was so eager to kill him. Jianfeng replied that Jianlan became a traitor when he joined the Martial Arts Academy and killed the elders who tried to stop him. There was no forgiveness for him. Jianfeng's sword flew straight at Jianlan, but the one stopped the attack with a sound wave. Jianfeng was puzzled. Now it was Jianlan's turn to attack. He didn't dodge this attack. The sound wave pushed Jianfeng away from Jianlan. Jianfeng didn't understand how his brother was still fine. Jianlan replied that he was not that weak. He couldn't win if he didn't fight seriously. Jianfeng said that he would regret it. His clothes ripped and blue energy enveloped him. It was a strong aura of sound wave. He summoned the sonic sword. His attack was too fast and moved straight at Jianlan. The boy realized he wouldn't be able to dodge. It was the end for him. But Qin Yun didn't think so. He realized that this lunatic wouldn't be able to repel the blow. Xiao Weilan shouted for Qin Yun not to do that. Jianfeng thought that he was able to kill Jianlan. But then he realized that something was wrong. Qin Yun held back his attack. He apologized and said that he would not allow Jianlan to be killed. Jianfeng shouted that the kid had lost his mind. He thwarted his attack. Jianlan asked why he had done that. The consequences for those who break the rules are not very happy. He should know about them. Qin Yun replied that as long as he was his comrade, the guy wouldn't leave him in trouble. Jianfeng did not expect that he had two vessels, one of which was a rare black martial spirit. That was bad because the guy had given away his secret, but suddenly some golden rope tied him up. The stranger said it was brave of him to break the rules of the contest. Moreover, he used a prohibited technique for which he will be penalized. Qin Yun shouted to be let go. The stranger again said the guy broke the rules and deserved to be punished. Qin Yun replied that the right to mete out punishment rests with the manager of the inscription temple. He couldn't decide it himself. The stranger said that Duan Gang, the manager of the Duan Gang inscription temple, had behaved inappropriately. He was forced to execute him. Qin Yun shouted about who this person was to do such a thing. He introduced himself as the elder of the Blue Star Palace, Kun Xin. He has every right to do so. Jianlan and Xiao Yuelan seemed to recognize him. One of the disciples said that he didn't think it was an elder. Qin Yun is definitely no longer alive now. Kun Xing replied that for the boy's misdeeds, he would send him to the tower to suffer for 10 years. From that portal, the tower began to appear. Kun Ying also added that the rules of suffering were personally set by the Azure Elder. If he could get out of there, he would remain free. Qin Yun began to be drawn into the tower. After all, it just hit the tower and no one prevented it. The doors slammed shut after him. Kun Xing threatened that anyone who broke the rules would now suffer the same fate as Qin Yun. Xiao Yuelan fell to her knees. She didn't understand how this could happen to a guy. Qianlan told her not to worry. He was confident that Qin Yun would find a way to get out of that tower, in the Tower of Misery. Moyagung woke up. He realized he was inside the tower. He decided that he would take revenge on those Blue Star Palace bastards for Duangan. Meanwhile, Prince Qin Zhengfeng began to relax. He said that this Qin Yun had gotten what he deserved. There is no spiritual energy or food inside the tower. He would starve to death before he could get out. He asked Kun Xing why he didn't kill him right away. Kun Xing replied that there were many people there, so it was impossible to kill him so easily. But imprisonment in the Tower of Suffering equals execution. Qin Zhengfeng said that Qin Yun might have some aces up his sleeve. He might have enough food reserves to last 10 years there. Kun Xing replied that as long as that person was in the tower, Qin Yun wouldn't even be able to live for 10 days. Qin Yun walked through the corridors of the tower. There were only bones under his feet. He wondered if there was anyone alive here. He realized that he needed to put more food and water into the spatial ring. Sooner or later, he would simply starve to death. Suddenly, he heard some sound. It was coming from some sort of passage. Qin Yun thinks there might be someone there. He decided to test his hunch. At the end sat some semblance of a man with long black hair. Qin Yun asked if this person was all right, but then he saw his face. It was the first time he'd ever seen such a thing. It scared him. The monster wanted to attack him, but someone reacted in time and punched him in the face. The monster flew off. Near Qin Yun was someone's fist. It was another stranger. He said wandering around in the tower alone was a bad idea. Qin thanked him for his help and introduced himself. The man replied that he only helped him because he was passing by. The guy asked what he was doing. The man replied that he was cooking dinner. Qin was surprised that it was edible. He roasted the monster's meat on the fire. The man said he seemed to have held it a little too long on the fire. Qin asked if the man survived thanks to the monster meat. The man replied that, considering it was the only food here, he had no choice. It's not as disgusting as it might seem at first. Qin asked how long he had been locked here. The man replied that it was 300 or so. Qin asked why he was still here. After all, he should be strong since he had lived so long here. The man replied that his cultivation was useless here. He was having so much fun talking about sad things. Qin said that if he couldn't get out of here with training, he would die here. The man said he needed to eat first. Death by starvation would do him no good. The guy said it was right. He'll survive and figure out a way to get out. He bit into the meat. Qin said that the man could have crossed the Blue Star Palace's road to end up trapped here. He speculated that the man might have known a lot of things about him. The man replied that he knew all about the Blue Star Palace. The guy asked if he knew anything about Emperor Lan Zhao. The man definitely recognized the name. Qin realized that the man knew him. But then he was grabbed by the throat. The man picked him up and asked him what he was doing here. He asked who had sent him and why he was looking for Lan Xiao. The guy replied that he wanted to give him something at Lin Bin Lian's request. The man let him go. The guy started coughing. Qin asked if he knew her. The man replied that she was his girlfriend. He asked if she was okay. Qin replied that she had been dead for about 1,000 years. The man said it's been so long already. His memory is already failing him. Qin asked if he was all right. The man replied that everything was fine. He was just upset to hear about her. The man asked what if he told him that he was the Lan Xiao Emperor. What would Qin do? The boy replied that it was impossible. He cannot be locked in the Tower of Suffering. The man said that no one would believe that the shaggy old man would turn out to be the legendary Emperor Lan Xiao. Qin asked if he was really the same Lan Xiao and how he ended up here. He replied that 300 years ago, he had tried to complete the last test of the Golden Star Scroll. But he failed and was mortally wounded. He had almost no strength left. When he was betrayed and stabbed in the back, he was completely weakened. That traitor wanted to learn the Golden Star technique, so he spared him but locked him in the Tower of Suffering. 300 years have passed. His wounds have healed, but his techniques have been lost. He's weaker now than he was before. I can't get out of the tower. Qin handed him what he found in the tomb. Lan Xiao said that it was a seal for learning techniques, and he was giving it away without a second thought. He asked if the guy was afraid he wasn't who he said he was. Qin replied that he was imprisoned here. Therefore, even if he's lying, it's not that bad. Lan Xiao called him an innocent boy. He decided to see what was inside. There were some scrolls. Lan Xiao said that he didn't think Bin Lian had written down all the techniques he had told her about. He gave it back to him and said it was his now. Lan Xiao said that he liked the guy. All the techniques inside were created by him. The guy could definitely use it. Qin said that this was after all the only thing left to him by Master Lin Bin. Liang Xiao said that the past should be let go. This thing would only frustrate him. Qin asked if he thought that cultivating here and bringing back his techniques would help him escape from here. Lan Si said that there is no spiritual energy here. Therefore, cultivation or training is impossible. The only way to solve this problem is through spiritual energy-rich secret places or high-ranking spiritual potions. The guy asked if he could restore his cultivation with spirit potions. Lan Xiao replied that yes, but they are not here. He survives with what he has left of his spiritual power. He waits for the day when his reserves of spiritual strength will run out. Qin called out to him and showed him the ring. A bunch of spirit potions appeared from the ring. Lan Xiao couldn't believe that there were so many spirit potions here. Qin replied that he didn't know if it would help. Lan Xiao saw that they were high-ranked spirit potions. He asked how the guy got them with his cultivation level. Qin replied that it was a reward for Lin Bin Lian's request. Lang Xiao laughed and said that it was true that they were similar. He showed such a big reward to the stranger. Lan Xiao said that he would take him as a disciple and teach him the Golden Star technique. Qin said that he already had a teacher. Lan Xiao told him not to worry. After she taught him the Golden Star technique, he would become his brother in arms. He started to get it in his head something. He saw stars. They all began to take over. He felt the cosmic energy in his body. Lan Xiao said that he had transmitted some cosmic energy to him. It would help him find the rule of stars and understand the truth of the Golden Star technique. He would restore his energy using spirit potions, and in the meantime, the guy would learn the Golden Star technique. Qin thanked him and called him brother. Qin Zhengfeng said that Qin was locked inside the Tower of Suffering, which means he is no different from a dead man. The girl is left to just give up. Xiao Yuelan said, even if he died, she wouldn't marry him. He was the only one who needed to wonder. The guy said that Qin Yun is no longer a prince. She shouldn't forget that she is the princess of the empire. They are made for each other. She said that Qin Yun would get out of the Tower of Suffering and return to his rightful place. Qin Zhengfeng replied that it was impossible for her to think about. He has complete control over the great Qin Empire. No one will be able to take his place. He suddenly grabbed her by the throat. He always gets what he wants. Xiao Getlan asked Qin Yun to save her. Meanwhile, Qin Yun was already feeling much better after fully cultivating the Golden Star technique. He wonders how his brother Lan Xiao, who went to train alone, is doing. Suddenly, there were a lot of rocks behind him. It was Lan Xiao apologizing for waiting. Qin Yun noticed how he had changed. Lan Xiao said that the spirit potions helped him regain his old appearance, but only a tenth of his power had returned. He needs to cultivate for another 10 years to destroy his traitor. Otherwise, they will be caught by this traitor as soon as they are released. They are not their adversaries now, Qin Yun asked, so they need to cultivate here for another 10 years. Lan Xiao replied that it was not necessary. They could just hide the aura. But first they need to get out of here. Qin Yun asked how they would do it. Lan Xiao replied that he only needed to make one strike. He broke down the wall. Lan Xiao noticed that there was only wasteland around. It seems like they need to spend a little more time to get out. Qin Yun asked what they should do now. Lan Xiao asked if he could fly. Qin Yun replied that he was still in the body tempering realm, so he couldn't fly. Then the guy will fly with Lan Xiao, Qin Yun asked as he flew a little slower. They finally got out of the Tower of Misery. They were in place. This is the Palace of the Blue Star. Qin Yun said that they flew for such a long time. It seemed like he was about to vomit. Lan Xiao realized that his cultivation level was still too low. They might recognize Lan Xiao in his current form. He needs to activate the Golden Star technique to return to his childhood form. However, his powers will be limited. He turned into a child, just like he said he would. Qin Yun was surprised by such a trick. Lan Xiao replied that when he was a master of the Golden Star technique, he could safely change his age. Qin Yun asked, wasn't he already an old man in terms of age? It was too strange to become a child again. Qin Yun asked how they would get to the Blue Star Palace. Lan Xiao replied that the Blue Star Palace not only accepts students from other academies, but also teaches ordinary people who have potential. Although before such admission, one must pass a very strict test. But even if he didn't pass the test, Qin Yun could use high-ranked spirit potions to bribe them. Qin Yun said that he was corrupt. He can't blame a traitor for what he did. They were in place. This is where registration for promising students takes place. Qin Yun needs to give his best here. The guy told him not to worry. There sat a bored girl. She heard voices. Qin Yun greeted her and said that they wanted to enter the Blue Star Palace. The girl replied that the older one looked capable of passing the test, but they couldn't accept the child. He replied that Emperor Lan Xiao did not set an age limit. The girl asked what other Emperor Lan Xiao was. Great Elder Kunhing made the rules. Qin Yun took out a high-ranking spiritual potion and asked for an exception by accepting this gift. She immediately recognized the value of this potion. The girl told them to pass. Lan Xiao said that there were no rules or morals in this place. When he was strong, no one dared to behave like this. The girl said the exam was easy. They just need to take a hammer and hit the Star Spirit drum. If they succeed in making a sound, they have passed. Qin Yun noticed that this hammer was large. He'll go first. He picked up a hammer once, but it was too heavy. The guy can't hit with it. He needs to use the Shockwave Battle Spirit to increase his strength. Lan Xiao didn't expect this guy to have a Shockwave Spirit. The girl said that she was very lucky to see the spirit of the Shockwave, as it is very rare. Qin Yun accelerated to strike with his hammer. Malo touched the Star Spirit drum and made a sound. After that, he immediately rested the hammer on the floor. It was too tiring for him. The girl congratulated him, for he had passed. Now it was the short man's turn. Lan Xiao said not to be called that. Using the hammer is annoying. He's had enough of one hit. Qin Yun wondered what his brother wanted to do. He jumped up and wanted to hit the drum with his bare hands, which he did. After that came a big shockwave. The girl was shocked by this and thinks it's just not possible. Qin Yun said that they were in trouble. The Star Spirit drum was cast somewhere very far away. Lan Xiao said that it was a breeze. The girl was surprised that he had such a high level of cultivation at such a young age. Could it be that he was already in the realm of the martial path? The palace elders would do everything they could to make him a disciple. Qin Yun asked, is showing his strength here a good idea? Lan Xiao reassured him. They need to show some strength to get to the Blue Star Palace. This way they can get to the Blue Star Palace bosses faster and eliminate the traitor. Qin Yun said that it was dangerous. Lan Xiao, on the other hand, might run into a traitor. He replied that they needed to take a risk. The boy would train in the outer section of the Blue Star Palace, and he would find him after he destroyed the traitor. Qin Yun replied that he would follow his instructions. The girl congratulated them, for they had both passed. They are now apprentices of the Blue Star Palace. She asked their names and where they were from. Qin Yun couldn't think of anything, so he introduced himself with his real name, and also said that he was with the great Qin Empire. Lan Xiao introduced himself as his younger brother, Qin Xiao Yun. The girl said that now that they had passed the exam, she meant a master for them based on their strength. She was brushing up against Qin Xiao Yun. His cultivation is equal to the level of an inner division disciple. He will be taken as a disciple by the elder and taken to the Blue Star Palace. She now moved on to Qin Yun. He wasn't bad, but his level still wasn't enough for him to enter the inner division. But he has potential, so he will appoint a very good external department master for him. After 3 days, Lan Xiao left for the inner department with his master. As for Qin Yun, he had more interesting things to do. His mentor was the same girl named Su Kui. She replied that she would train him well. Meanwhile, in the Tower of Misery, they decided to check her out. Kun Xing said that the Tower of Suffering had been destroyed from the inside. He asked if this thief Lan Xiao could have been freed. The other person replied that Lan Xiao's cultivation had been destroyed. He shouldn't have had the strength to destroy the Tower of Misery. Kun Xing said that this thief shouldn't be underestimated. He probably had a few tricks in store. He told the two of them to go back to the Blue Star Palace. They must be careful, for they must not let him enter. They heard the great elder's command. Since the Tower of Suffering had opened, Qin Yun was also able to get out. If that was the case, he would kill him on the spot. He should check it out. They were in place. This would now be his cultivation room. If he lacks anything, he can call his master. She will try to help. And he thanked Master Kui. She told him not to wander around. He was new here, which meant there might be trouble with the guards guarding the area. She told him to rest and she'd be back tomorrow. She pondered over his rare black martial spirit and so much power at such a young age. Master Kui hadn't met someone like him in a long time. It seemed like she would be able to increase her cultivation level. She wanted to make Qin Yun the source for her cultivation. She would absorb his spirit shockwave. Suddenly he felt cold for some reason. He wandered around the grounds. Qin Yun thought that this place was so big. He had already walked here for 2 hours and still hadn't met anyone. He wondered what his master was up to. She only gave him pills, herbs, and tinctures all day long. She also didn't teach him any techniques. He won't be able to advance his cultivation here. He needs to get out of here and return to the martial arts academy. But he suddenly met a girl he knew. It was Xiao Yue Mei. She recognized him, of course. She asked if he wasn't locked in the Tower of Misery. Why is he here? Qin Yun replied that something happened and he was able to get out. The girl had underestimated how tough he was, that he could even escape from the Tower of Suffering. Qin Yun asked what happened to her sister in Jianlan. Maybe they are also in the Blue Star Palace? The girl replied that her sister was taken by Qin Zhengfeng to the Blue Star Palace. She is locked in the Heavenly Tower. Jianlan was caught by his brother, so she doesn't know where he is. Qin Yun only heard that Yuelan was trapped by Qin Zhengfeng, as he immediately wanted to save her. She replies that her sister is his fiancée, she will be fine. She advises him to give up at once, for he cannot be with her. Qin Yun replied that their marriage contract was still in effect. She was locked away against her will by Qin Zhengfeng. He can't just turn a blind eye to this. Xiao Yue Mei called him a real man, which was why her sister missed him so much. Anyway, the girl asked what he was doing in the Blue Star Palace. Qin Yun replied that he had become a disciple of Outer Ring Master Su Kui. The girl had a strange reaction to the master. Qin Yun asked if there was something wrong. Xiao Yue Mei replied, "This name is notorious in the palace. She accepts strong people with great potential as disciples, but she doesn't do it for training. She selects their abilities to enhance herself. They say she's even done this to 100 students already." Qin Yun asked, "Didn't everyone know that she was using forbidden techniques?" Xiao Yue Mei said that in the palace, status is elevated through strength. They don't care what techniques are used, and they only eliminate it if it is no longer needed. Qin Yun said that as long as someone is strong, they can do anything. The guy asked what the girl was doing here. She replied that she was a student at the Blue Star Palace School. Qin Yun said that since she was also studying here, it was good. He asked how he could get into the Tower of Heaven. He wants to save her sister. Xiao Yue Mei replied that since he loves her sister, she would help him. But first, he must leave Su Kui. She advises him to enter the Instrument Improvement Academy. If his skills are high enough for him to become an apprentice of the Inner Division, he will be able to enter the Heavenly Tower. But first, he must deal with Master Su Kui. She will be waiting for him here in 3 days and hopes to see him again. It was night. Master Su Kui walked in to see him. She said that it was late and he was still cultivating. Told him to rest and brought the soup she had prepared. If he eats it, he can regain his strength. Qin replied that he hadn't been feeling well lately, so he wouldn't eat it. Su Kui noticed that he looked worried. She asked if something had happened. Qin replied that he didn't know what she was talking about. He was suddenly hungry, so he decided to eat some soup to ward off suspicion. He thanked her, but then he felt a blow from the back of his neck. Su Kui knocked him out, and she wanted him to live a little longer. She dragged him into some kind of dungeon. Su Kui chained him and started laughing. Tonight he'll be hers. She noticed that the guy had a nice body. She even felt a little sorry for him. He started to wake up. Finally, he opened his eyes fully. Qin noticed her touching his chest. He yelled for her to leave him alone. Su Kui replied so he wouldn't worry. She won't kill him. He put up a defense but didn't expect such a stealthy attack at all. He noticed that his spirit shockwave could not break these shackles. Qin wondered what they were made of. Su Kui told him not to waste energy. These shackles are made of hardened gold and can only be destroyed by fire. She grabbed the guy by the throat. Su Kui told him to accept his fate. He must become part of her body. Qin will no longer be in hiding. His body was covered in fire. Su Kui didn't understand where this fire came from. The shackles began to melt from the fire. He was free at last. Now he has to get out of here. He used the step of the flaming cloud. Su Kui will see how far he gets, and she just has to follow the trail of spiritual energy to catch the guy. But she didn't expect him to have 2 martial spirits. This was truly a gift from heaven for her. She noticed he was in his room. Teenagers don't have much experience. He actually hid in his room. She went in there. Su Kui walked over to his bed. She thought he was hiding under the covers. She didn't realize if he was crazy or naive, for he hid under the blanket. But there was a doll with a bunch of mascots. They were explosive mascots. There was an explosion. Qin thinks that such a large number of explosive talismans should have killed this crazy woman. But she was still alive. She screamed that she would kill him now for doing this to her. Qin was clearly surprised that she still hadn't died after so many explosive talismans. Now she's going to watch the guy hide. She was quickly approaching him, who was sitting on the roof. Su Kui said that she would take all of his strength and not leave a single drop. He threw another talisman at her. Su Kui wasn't impressed by another explosive talisman. He wouldn't be able to injure her with just one talisman. But it wasn't an explosive talisman. A talisman of lightning traveled across her body. Su Kui asked, did he really think he could kill her with a little lightning? She dispelled the lightning. Since he can't kill her with the lightning talisman, he'll have to use the golden star technique he learned from his brother. He used the gold star technique, level 1. Su Kui asked what those colored lights were. They looked like the lost technique of Emperor Lan Xiao. But as soon as she uttered the golden star technique, the attack caught up with her. She was thrown back with a massive explosion. Qin didn't know that the golden star technique was so powerful. The next day, it was as if nothing had happened. Xiao Yuanmei couldn't believe that he had really eliminated Su Kui. She was at the 9th level of the body tempering realm. Qin replied that he used a couple of tricks. With this strength, he was not her opponent. He asked if the Blue Star Palace would send someone after him if he destroyed the master's cultivation. Xiao Yuanmei said that the Blue Star Palace doesn't worry about people who can't cultivate. She asked if he knew how to improve tools. The guy replied that he didn't know anything about it. Xiao Yuanmei said that there is a way out. The Tool Improvement Academy needs a janitor, so he can take this position. He was clearly not thrilled with the idea, but there was no choice. Qin actually started sweeping. He can't believe he became a janitor. He definitely needs to go back to the Martial Arts Academy. Xiao Yuanmei left him here alone. Qin thought that he would be trained to improve the tools. In the beads left to him by the master, there was mention of improving tools. He should look into it. A girl came out and called the sweeping guy over to her for a second. Qin asked if she was the one talking about him. She asked if he saw anyone else here. Qin asked what she needed. The girl replied that she needed an assistant in the instrument room. And the only one available here is him. If he would help her, she would train him to improve the tools. He's gonna get what he wants. The guy wonders if he's getting lucky. The girl asked what his name was. The guy introduced himself and asked her as well. Her name is Chi Mei Lian. She asked what his martial spirit and cultivation level was. Qin replied that he was at the 6th level of the body tempering realm, and he had a purple gold battle spirit. The girl was thrilled that he had a purple golden martial spirit. She said the guy really trusts her. The fiery martial spirit is good for improving tools, and its purple gold is even better. Now it will be rich. She immediately pulled him somewhere behind her. This was her tool improvement room? Qin asked. Everyone has their own room here. Qi Meilin replied, "Yes, those who improve tools are very highly regarded here. Apart from their private rooms, they can also ask for the resources they need." They entered the room, and what immediately caught my eye was the oven. Qin Yun said that it looked like a forge furnace. Qi Meilian said that the most important part of improving tools is creating materials. So forging is a basic skill, Qin Yun asked. Then how could he help her? He doesn't know anything about it. The girl said she has a final exam in a few days, but she can't create a high-ranking tool on her own. She just needed someone to put coal in the stove, but she didn't expect to meet this guy. Qin Yun asked what she wanted him to do. She said to help her reduce this piece of metal to the size of an axe. Qin Yun asked if that was possible. Qi Meilian told him not to worry. The forging he should leave to her. The guy should just control the temperature with his fiery martial spirit. She handed him a scroll with the basics of tool enhancement. He should read the part about fire control. He didn't need to waste time reading the rest, because he wouldn't understand it anyway. She said goodbye and said she was going to bed. They would start tomorrow. Qin Yun wondered if it was a challenge. He would be able to read everything. But as soon as he started reading the scroll, he realized he didn't understand anything. Qin Yun threw away the scroll and said, "Whatever. He'll just learn everything from the beads he got from the master." Spiritual signs can be used not only to create talismans, but also to forge tools and make secret connections. Everything was written down in detail. First, he needs to learn the flame forging technique. And the main task is to channel the channel of internal energy to forge spiritual metal, a material that has a large amount of spiritual aura. Fortunately, his second martial spirit is a shockwave spirit. With his help, Qin Yun will be able to facilitate the process. He wants to try using this piece of metal for training. He hopes that Qi Meilian won't scold him for this. First, Qin Yun would heat up the metal with a fiery martial spirit. Next comes the forging. He infused the spirit power of the shockwave. After that, he began to forge on. He still has some work to do before the metal is the size of an axe. He'll keep going. The next day, Qi Meilian asked. He had fit 10,000 pounds of metal into this piece. Qin Yun replied that he was a little nervous. If he is expensive, he will pay. She told him to forget it. The metal here is in unlimited supply. Although he still turned it into a small piece, unfortunately, he can't create spirit metal. Qi Meilian replied that metal was not normally used for forging tools. He asked why she threw it away. She'll show him some real forging at tomorrow's exam. Qin Yun asked why she was doing forging right in her room. Aren't there other people around? Qi Meilian replied that there are 300 rooms in the Tool Forging Academy. Each student takes the test in their own room. And after the test, a master comes and evaluates the work. Qin Yun noticed that they had already been doing this for 2 hours. He wondered if that was too long. 4 hours later, finally they're done. She revealed a perfect piece of spirit metal. And now at the snap of her fingers, she can call in a craftsman to evaluate her forging. The master has indeed come. He said that he didn't expect Qi Meilian to finish so quickly. She had become stronger. She greeted Elder Wu. He said to let him look at her forging spiritual metal. She asked for an evaluation of this. Elder Wu glanced at the spirit metal. He said he had a good spiritual aura. All in all, it was not bad. Also, the elder said that he was reaching the middle level of spirit metal. The girl thanked him. Qi Meilian said that now he knows what forging looks like. Qin Yun said that this is a real discovery. Her exam is over. She got 17 points, which isn't bad. Now he has to go to the other rooms. But he noticed something. It was a piece of metal that the girl had thrown away. Qi Meilian said that it was just a failed sample. She's going to throw it away right now. But he raised this unfortunate specimen. Elder Wu told her to forget about it. He asked where she got that piece of metal from. The girl was confused. Qin Yun said that he did it. Qi Meilian is not to blame. Elder Wu asked if this was the guy's job. Qin Yun replied positively. Elder Wu questioned him again. He said not to lie to him. Qin Yun replied that he wasn't lying. If his metal was that bad, and it might have angered the elder. But the elder said that was not the case. He said it was the best of the best metals. Qin Yun didn't realize what had happened. Qi Meilian was also puzzled. Elder Wu said that the spiritual aura inside was so strong that even he needed to use all his strength to create something like this. He asked who taught the guy such forging. Qin Yun replied that he didn't have a teacher. He just learned a few techniques from Qi Meilian. Elder Wu said that he could understand such complicated techniques at a young age. He had earned his respect. He asked if the boy was preparing to go to the Heavenly Palace Forging Academy. Qi Meilian couldn't believe that he could enter the Heavenly Palace. Wu Tianxin, the third elder of the Heavenly Palace Forging School. If the kid is ready, he can accept him as a disciple of the inner division. Qin Yun replied that he was willing to become his disciple, but first, he had a request. Wu Tianxin replied that he would do his best. Qin Yun said that he wanted Qimei Lian to go with him to the Heavenly Palace. The girl was surprised at what she had just heard. Wu Tianxin laughed and replied that he thought the guy would ask for something more complicated. He agreed to fulfill his request. Qin Yun thanked him. The elders said that he would take them to the Heavenly Palace tomorrow. The girl immediately went to hug him and thank him for the opportunity. Qin Yun replied that he was the one who needed to thank her. If it wasn't for Qimei Lian, he would have been a janitor. Qin Yun asked what the Heavenly Palace looked like. He was curious about it. Qimei Lian replied, "The Heavenly Palace is located in the inner territory of the Blue Star Palace. Only the inner disciples know what it is like inside. She has dreamed of entering the Heavenly Palace since she was a child, and she will finally be able to do so." Wu Tianxin asked if they were ready. They could already enter the Heavenly Palace. Qin Yun noticed that the Heavenly Palace was so high. He asked if they would fly there, but he still hadn't learned the techniques of flying. Wu Tianxin replied that there was a portal that would take them directly to the Heavenly Palace. But those who use it without permission would be seriously punished. The portal began to activate. The golden light struck right at them, and so they moved into the Heavenly Palace with ease. Qin Yun immediately noticed the beautiful view. Wu Tianxin said that he would take them to their rooms. He was now their master, so if anyone bothered them, they could just call his name. They thanked their master. Qin Yun noticed that the rooms of the Heavenly Palace were so big. They went into the room. Qin Yun asked they would be sharing a room. Qimei Lian replied that yes, she did. She asked to be trained in forging techniques. That's not good. She might learn some secrets living with him. But suddenly some other sounds were heard. Another student was beaten. Lan Xiao was in charge of this. He said it was easy. Someone asked where this kid came from and how he could be so strong at such a young age. Someone said that bringing him here was the right decision. At such a young age, he is already in the realm of the martial path. The man asked who trained him. Lan Xiao replied that his techniques were inherited from his parents. He doesn't belong to any school. The man said that if Lan Xiao agreed, he could accept him as his disciples. Lan Xiao called the man a master and thanked him. He didn't expect to get such a strong disciple like this boy. It seems that their Western Palace will finally equal the Eastern Palace. Lan Xiao said that he was overestimating him. His level is not that high. Master said that tomorrow the Blue Star Palace would choose the two strongest disciples from the Western and Eastern Palace to battle in the arena. Grand Elder Kunxing will also be there. He will send Lan Xiao. The expression on his face changed after he heard about Kunxing. The master said that the reputation of the Western Palace was now in his hands. Lan Xiao replied that he would do his best not to let him down. He was very angry with Kunxing. Now Emperor Lan Xiao has returned. Arena Palace. Everyone greeted the Great Elder. Eastern Palace Master Shui Yihui and Western Palace Master Yang Pan greeted the Elder. Yang Pan said this is a big part of it for him. Kunxing said that it was the Grand Elder's responsibility to find the best disciples. He couldn't miss it. He looks forward to meeting the students they have chosen. Yang Pan said that he had found a very strong disciple. This time, the winner will be the Western Palace. They will take their time, let their students speak for themselves. They begin. Shui Yihui called out to Wang Meng. Other students called him a Hulk. Wang Meng is a disciple from the Heavenly Flame Barbarians. He is at the 9th level of body tempering. His breakthrough to the next level is only a matter of time. He's one of his strongest disciples. And now they'll be looking at who the Western Palace has chosen. Yang Pan told his disciple to go and win this fight. Lan Xiao came out. Shui Yihui asked. He was mad. After all, he chose a child. Kunxin asked if he was sure of his choice. Yang Pan replied that he had no doubts about his disciple. Lan Xiao greeted him and said that he was so big. Wang Meng replied that he would put him down with one punch. They were told to start. Wang Meng wanted to crush this child, but Lan Xiao stopped his footing. Wang Meng didn't understand how this child could stop him. Lan Xiao asked, wondering if this was all of his strength. He doesn't intend to play with Wang Meng anymore. Wang Meng was thrown back into the wall. Someone said that Wang Meng was at the 9th level of body hairpin. They wondered if this guy was really a kid. Shui Yihui couldn't believe his eyes either. Kunxing said that they have a huge height difference, and the fact that he was defeated so quickly is truly astounding. He asked what this disciple's name was. Yang Pan called out his name, Qin Xiao Yun. That name certainly alerted him. Yang Pan said that his disciple was already in the realm of the martial path. A great future awaits him. Lan Xiao thanked his master and said that he still had a long way to go. Kunxing approached his disciple and said that his Blue Star Palace now had another mighty warrior. But his name reminded him of someone. Qin Yun, who had escaped from the Tower of Suffering, must have been related to him. Yang Pan said that it was probably just a coincidence. Lan Xiao replied that Qin Yun was not the only person who was related to him, but that wasn't what he should be afraid of. Kun Xing shouted about what he had just said. Lan Xiao replied that he would pay for what he had created. He used his technique. He threw a punch at Kun Xin. His blow pierced the elder through and through. Yang Pan and Shui Yihui didn't realize what was even going on. Lan Xiao took advantage of the gap. The other students wondered if he had lost his mind. The silhouette of a woman appeared, and she said that his techniques hadn't gotten weaker in these 300 years. She needed to kill him when she had the chance. If he regained his full strength, she would be mortally wounded. Lan Xiao replied, just how much time had passed since their last meeting with Kun Xing. Kun Xing said that she missed him too and called him Master Lan Xiao. The elders wondered if everything she said was true. If so, this boy was indeed Emperor Lan Xiao. Lan Xiao called the three of them traitors. He will cleanse this palace, and he will start with them. Shui Yihui ordered his disciples to capture this guy, but the disciples didn't know how to fight him. It was the legendary Emperor Lan Xiao himself. Shui Yihui said that they were all useless. He suggested Yang Pan to attack together. They took off. They used their techniques against Lan Xiao. Lan Xiao seemed to be disappointed in them. After all, they dared to attack him. He told them to go away. A large golden ball threw them off. Lan Xiao suggested not to waste time, simply. He would finish everything right now. Kun Xing replied that she would show him how much stronger she had become in the past 300 years. She said to show him all her power. Lan Xiao used the Golden Star technique, 10th level. Their energies began to clash. Kun Xin said to do it. The red and gold rays were visible even through the palace. Buildings began to shake. Qin Yun thought that it might have been an earthquake. Qi Mei Lian said that this is the Heavenly Palace. There shouldn't be an earthquake here. Qin Yun said that he needed to check it. Qi Mei Lian replied that Master had forbidden them to go out. He ran right out. Qin Yun needs to find out what's going on. He saw a lot of smoke. Qin Yun thought that there might be someone fighting there. Amongst the smoke, Lan Xiao's silhouette could be seen. Qin Yun said that someone was coming. Lan Xiao had underestimated Kun Xing's strength, causing him to be injured. They met each other's gazes. Lan Xiao shouted that they needed to leave. He immediately grabbed Qin Yun by his clothes and dragged him behind him. They accelerated and flew away quickly. There was still smoke coming from the building and fire could be seen. Kun Xing's bloody hand showed itself. Kun Xing would see how long Lan Xiao would run away from her. The elder was also injured, but not seriously. He won't be able to escape her. Lan Xiao and Qin Yun decided to take a little break. Qin Yun asked what had happened. Lan Xiao started coughing up blood. Qin Yun was immediately worried about him. Lan Xiao said to Qin Yun not to worry. He is not going to die yet. Lan Xiao asked why he was here. Qin Yun replied that he had joined the Tool Forging Academy at the Heavenly Palace. He asked if Lan Xiao had fought with Kun Xing. Lan Xiao said that he had underestimated her. He didn't expect her cultivation to increase so much. So far, he had only recovered 1/10 of his strength. He would be defeated by her if he went into a fight again. Lan Xiao asked if he still had the spatial ring. Qin Yun took out his ring. Lan Xiao said that his aura was too big. Kun Xing will be able to detect it. He needs to heal his wounds with the ring. He used a penetration technique. Lan Xiao began to disappear and make his way into the ring. The spirit potions in the ring should help brother Lan Xiao heal his wounds. He noticed someone coming. They were elders Shui Yihui and Yang Pan. Shui Yihui asked how that guy's aura that was just here could disappear so quickly. Yang Pan said that if they couldn't find the mortally wounded man, they would lose their positions. He suggested that they split up. They split up and flew off in different directions. Qin Yun can't stay here any longer. He has to go back first. Qi Mei Lian asked where he was and what happened. Qin Yun replied that he was trying to find the cause of that earthquake. It seemed like someone was fighting. Qi Mei Lian said that someone came to her and told her not to come out. They said that someone strong had broken into the Heavenly Palace, and the elders were now looking for him. Qin Yun asked if she was referring to Grand Elder Kun Xing. The girl replied that Elder Kun was strong, plus she was the best in the Blue Star Palace. The intruder made a big mistake by attacking her. He is most likely already dead. Then suddenly, Lan Xiao's voice was heard, calling her a rascal. He would destroy her next time. Qi Mei Lian asked. It was just a child's voice. Qin Yun replied that she had imagined it. He said he was a little tired. He's going to take a little nap. Qi Mei Lian thought she was hallucinating. She needs to see a doctor immediately. He walked into the room. Qin Yun asked if Lan Xiao could hear them while inside the ring. Lan Xiao replied that he was spiritually communicating with him through this ring, but others couldn't hear it. His wounds are fatal. If Qin Yun was in danger, he wouldn't be able to help him. Therefore, he needs to become stronger to be able to defend himself. But for now, he will help with his cultivation. He will now teach him how to create high-ranked tools. Right now, he has nothing. They need a good weapon, so they should create a high-ranking weapon. A titanium hammer. Qin Yun replied that he didn't think he knew how to forge tools. Lan Xiao said that there was nothing unusual here. After all, the Tool Forging Academy was established by him. As it was, no one must know about the forging techniques he would be teaching. Not even that girl. No one must know that Qin Yun is practicing forging. Qin Yun told him not to worry. He'll be fine. It was already night. Qin Yun was in the forging business, and now he's done with it. Qin Yun thought about how strong the titanium hammer he had forged was. Lan Xiao said that the hammer is a high-ranking tool. He should only use it as a last resort. If he uses it unnecessarily, someone strong will come after him and take his life. He decided to try out the hammer. Lan Xiao didn't have time to stop him. He banged the hammer. Qin Yun was surprised that nothing happened, but it wasn't that simple. His room exploded. Qin Yun flew out with heated clothes, and Lan Xiao called him an idiot. Lan Xiao asked how he could swing it so easily. After all, he still hadn't taught Qin Yun how to use this hammer. Qin Yun apologized. The guy walked into the room. Qi Meilian began to wake up from his footsteps. She asked who was here, but then she heard his voice and saw Qin Yun. She started to get nervous and asked why he was naked. She wasn't ready yet. Strange thoughts were going through her head, because the guy hadn't thought about it at all. Qin Yun said that she had misunderstood everything. His clothes were burned during cultivation. He wanted to ask to borrow his clothes, but the girl talked about him burning his clothes. She was definitely in shock. She said she would make him new clothes tomorrow. The boy thanked her. He definitely got a new outfit, according to the girl. She spent 5,000 coins to get this from the Heavenly Palace store. People are so greedy. Their foreman came in and said that the Tool Forging Academy had been burned down last night. Qi Meilian asked who could have done this. How could they behave so arrogantly in the Heavenly Palace? Master said that yesterday, a strong master attacked a great elder, but was injured and escaped. He thinks that person is still hiding in the Heavenly Palace. He is also responsible for setting fire to the Tool Forging Academy. Qin Yun said that they couldn't have noticed such a person with their cultivation level. The mentor replied that he was right, that Master was equal in strength to a great elder. They wouldn't be able to notice him. Anyway, Qin Yun wants to see a girl named Xiaoyue Mei. The girl said she couldn't find it on the lower levels. She only managed to do so after asking the director of the Tool Forging Academy. She was surprised that he was accepted by his students, even though he doesn't even know how to forge tools. It's a marvel. Qin Yun yelled that she herself had told him to go to the Tool Forging Academy, but only now did she decide to come herself. Xiaoyue Mei apologized. She had urgent matters to attend to, so she forgot about him. The girl is here to tell him something important. Qin Yun asked, and what exactly is it that she wants to tell him? She found the place where her sister Yue Lan was being held. Qin Yun touched her shoulders and asked where she was. She pulled away from him and told him not to get hot. Her sister is now in the locked lands of Tianqi. They must rescue her. Qin Yun said that she doesn't really get along with her sister. He asked why she was helping to save her. What is she trying to accomplish in the first place? Xiaoyue Mei called him a guesser. She needs something important in the Tianqi Forbidden Lands, so she needs someone strong to go with her. He will help save her sister and she will get what she wants. Qin Yun replied that he knew she had ulterior motives, but he would still go with her. He informed his mentor that he was going to the Tianqi Empire. He needed a vacation for 2 months. The mentor said it was very far away. He asked what the boy would be doing there and if there was anything he could do to help. Qin Yun thanked him and said that his friend would help him. He would be fine. He told him to be careful. Qi Meilian hugged him and told him that the girl he met today was bad. She told him to be careful. Qin Yun reassured her and said that he would be careful. Meanwhile, Xiaoyue Mei sneezed. She thinks someone is insulting her. Qin Yun came out and said that they could go. Yue Mei forgot to say that during her exploration of the Forbidden Lands, she had angered Prince Qiyu. He would chase them down the road, so they needed to be careful. He yelled that she only needed a bodyguard because she pissed someone off. He told her to say what else she was hiding. He was already mentally prepared. The girl said it was her omission. She would make a copy of the soul forging scroll for him as soon as she got it. Lan Shou told him to make a deal. This scroll is very important. The boy must have it. The guy said a powerful man like his brother wants this thing. She's definitely powerful. She asked what other brother, and who he was even talking to. The guy said she was imagining things.